Welcome, everybody. How are you doing? Good morning. I got my coffee brewing, got my new hat on. This girl's a happy girl this morning. I actually got good sleep.
All right, let's just admit it. That didn't happen.
Yeah, I did. But I got some good sleep last night. Man, I was in bed early. I passed out. It's on my shirt. So, are you ready for day two? I have to admit, day one kind of snored me a little bit. It was a dry day in court. Now, court isn't always exciting. It's not always full of objections and all that cray cray stuff. I mean, it can be dramatic, but doesn't always have to be dramatic. So, with that, we're gonna see what happens today. We're gonna see who does what to whom. Hopefully, we'll get a little more active today. Now, the lady who is testifying right now on the stand, Marissa, oh gosh, what was her last name? Popel? Yeah, Popel. She is the evidence collector, technician, whatever you want to call her. Anyway, she is on the stand and she has all of the good information. All the good scoop. She's the one that took the pictures of all of the pew pews and all that kind of stuff. So right now, before court starts, let's get our birthdays today because we got a lot of people to give happy birthdays to. And once again, if you have somebody that has a birthday, let us know in the chats. We'll wish them a happy birthday. Okay, here we go.
To you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Lorraine. Happy birthday, Monica. Cindy, oh my gosh, have a great birthday. Cindy, I know you. Girl, it's a special day. Enjoy it. Misty, have a great birthday. Angelica, oh, may it be a bless. Pam, oh, you beautiful girl. Happy birthday. And Kim, may it be a great day. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Bum. Happy birthday. Court has already got their feet up. That's a shocker. I know, right, y'all? Court doesn't always get their feet up very, what's the word I'm looking for? Early. Watch them be late. They'll get their feet up and then they'll make you sit there forever and wait. Oh, nope. Maybe not. I saw movement. Maybe not. I'm trying to set up my windows, y'all. I have so many windows open here. I've got chat, I got Discord, I've got the view, the court feed. I got everything set up. Now, let's see if Alec Baldwin can stay awake. He had a struggle. Oh my God, he struggled so hard yesterday afternoon. Y'all, it is exhausting because people don't realize you're not there just in court. When court's over, you and your attorneys go back to their little office, temporary, if it's somewhere where you don't live, and you plan for the next day, and you're not in bed till midnight sometimes, especially the attorneys. And then you get up at the buns crack of dawn, and he's got an infant or toddler, a little one with him, and his wife, even though they have a nanny, that's still, he's got that responsibility with him. So, y'all, it's a lot. And I know people were really dogging him about going, but you know what? the witness was putting us to sleep too, so I can't get mad at him. I can't. Oh, this hat. Oh my gosh. This is 1836. It's a Kratom brand that my son's shop sells Kratom. And I am blessed to have this office, well, pod room, makeup room, and an office and a sewing room. I got a lot of things in here. It used to be a chiropractic office, so we got a lot of offices in there. And so, but, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted that one. Sorry, guys. So, anyway, we are blessed to have this space, and I'm blessed to be here. And I am waiting for our interpreter. She'll come on at some point. If not, I will do the interpreting. Someone asked, how can I interpret if I'm not allowed to interpret in court? Okay. I can't interpret without supervision because I'm not court certified, but she is. She's a nationally certified interpreter and she has her court certification. She's interpreted in courts. So she may be in the background taking a break, but I can be signing. And if she needs to fix a word, she'll show me and then I'll fix it. That's how that works. But in the meantime, I'm going to do this until she shows up. Yay! Yay! I don't know why I'm such a good mood. Oh, I forgot my meds. I don't know why I'm in such a good mood this morning, y'all. And I haven't had a cup of coffee yet. I haven't had a sip. Today's going to be a good day. Okay, we need to have a active day in court. I will tell you though that sorry about the noise. I'll tell you though that this I've already heard all this before with the Hannah Gutierrez retrial, and so for me it's kind of redundant. But I loved hearing about the lead shooter and the lead. I know I have to be so careful. And so with that, I already knew about the primer and the casing and all the details. I already knew about all that. But I love the way she describes it. The dummy round, the blank round, and how to tell the difference. A dummy round looks identical to a live round, but it has a hole bored into the side. So you know that this is not something that's going to propel. It's empty. It doesn't have any pew pew powder, lead powder. However, we're going to lead shooter powder. We're not going to have any of that in it. Okay. So before this gets going, I did this with all my cases where there's a victim. We got to remember we're here because they want justice for the victim, and so do we. And I take a moment to remember this beautiful lady. Yep, beautiful lady. And now, a quick word from our sponsor who keeps me fueled for you guys. Hey, y'all. I am so excited we have our very first sponsor, and I'm wearing this hat to honor them. Who is it? Well, it's coffee, my favorite thing. This coffee is from Hitchman Homestead Coffee. This is the Shooter Shack Coffee Pioneer Nicaraguan Roast. This coffee is so delicious, y'all. It is so smooth. It does not leave a chemical taste on the back of the tongue. It's not overly bitter. And I have to tell you, it is my favorite. And I am now getting rid of all my other coffee. I kid you not. They have a monthly subscription available. You get 12-ounce bag a month, either whole beaned or ground. And then you can also get a Keurig option as well. The other thing they have is wonderful gift boxes that you can send to your loved ones. So you want to support a fabulous home business and people here in the Hill Country, go to hitchmanhomestead.com and let them know I sent you, and grab yourself some of the best tasting coffee we have here in Texas Hill Country. And boy, ain't she lying. It is really good, y'all. There at one point my doctor said, I want you to get off of the creamer. I want you to cut this, cut that. And I said, but I can't. I gotta have my creamer. I can't do coffee without creamer. Please don't take that away. And he was like, it's your choice. I said, okay. So I went to an oat milk creamer, and it's a plant based creamer. Not bad, but the reason why I put creamer in my coffee is because to get rid of the bitterness. Sometimes it's just too bitter. It's just too. Mm. This coffee, I can drink it without the creamer. It is so good, y'all. It's that good. And when they say dark and bold, it's not bitter. And that's the thing about having freshly roasted, freshly ground or whole bean coffee. So I'm going to get some of their whole beans, and I'm going to put dark chocolate. And I'm going to get them in dark chocolate. Shh. For those who don't know, I am back on my weight loss journey. I lost 100 pounds before, and then I had chemo, and it put it back with a bunch of prednisone, and it put it back on me. So, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. For those who don't know, good morning, Ronnie. We do have an interpreter. She's hopping in sometime soon. I better check on her. But she is doing this at no charge right now for us. Now would be good. We're waiting for court. So anyway, we have set up a buy me a cup of coffee for her. If you are so inclined to love on the interpreter, you may bless her right over at that site. She is fabulous, and she is doing this all day with us every day, as long as she doesn't have another paying job. Then she has to go do that one. But one of my goals of this channel, since I'm deaf without my hearing aids, is to open up access to the deaf community. And we've already had some people watching, so that's awesome. It's an awesome, awesome thing. So, love on our interpreter, please. Y'all, I keep looking at myself. I can't get over how good this camera is. It is the bomb. And thank you, Braxton. He's a mod, for helping me get everything all sharp. And it was like, yeah. So I'm just checking the chats and checking everything and seeing if we are okay. Okay. One new mention. Who's mentioned? I think everybody's covering this trial. I think. Yep. So, that's the kitten outside. If y'all didn't know, for those of you who were praying for my kitten, thank you so much. We almost lost her, but I was able to pull her through, and now she's her rambunctious self. And my studio doors closed, and she's putting her paws under, and I can't hear it, but I could see it, but I wasn't sure if it was like a scorpion or what it was. It was her fault. We have scorpions here, y'all. Do you know how RA is with water bugs, roaches, or any kind of bug? I can handle all those, but don't give me a scorpion. I keep scissors everywhere so I can cut the tail off. Best way to kill a scorpion: cut the tail off before you try to kill it. That way you don't get stung, number one. And number two, those little suckers, you can stomp on those things and they still don't just, roll over. So they scurry away. So the best way to get rid of those little suckers is snip the tail off. Okay, let me go over to X and see what they're saying. Okay. Well, we talked about, well, I guess all of y'all know that we have 4 jurors coming forth in the Karen Reed trials stating that they found her not guilty on counts 1 and 3. Count 2 is where they struggled. And they were all shocked when the judge said, mistrial, go, bye. And they were whisked very quickly out of the courthouse and on the bus. They expected her to ask about which count where they were stuck on, whatever. Well, now I hear there's a possible 5th juror that's wanting to come up. But number 4 said, I'm willing to testify. Get me on that stand. There's no reason for her to be charged with counts 1 and 3 if we found her not guilty on counts 1 and 3. And as we all were saying, the verdict form was not very clear. And they were hung up on the verdict form. They weren't sure if you don't find them guilty for count 1, you can't find them for count 2, 3. I've got to run for a quick second. I got to do something. I'll be right. We had an early bird come over to the store. We normally don't have them this early. Good morning, Miss Ronnie and Miss Andrielle. Are y'all gonna? Sorry, guys. Oh, I'm wearing a skirt today. I made it. This is a Native American ribbon skirt, and I'm not used to wearing skirts to work, and they kind of stick to the seat. I can't slide. Oh, good morning. How you doing, Miss Ronnie? Y'all, Miss Ronnie is my researching mod. She is fabulous. And before I had to hop up, we were talking about the Hannah Gutierrez and the not Hannah Gutierrez, Karen Reed, and all of the stuff going on with her situations with all of the jurors starting to come forward. And I really appreciate that because a lot of jurors um, they don't they don't like to get involved once all of it's done. So I understand, but it's very important for them to come forward. Oh, the first cup, first sip, really good. Thank you for the donation. Oh my gosh, thank you. Outfit check. Oh, thank you so much. You are fabulous and awesome. The interpreter will be here shortly, I guess. Well, it's 10:35. Let me call her and see if she's up and about. Miss Diane. It's okay. She'll hop on. I'll get it until then. So, did everybody have a good night's sleep? I am just shocked at how much sleep I got last night. I'm not one to get a whole lot of sleep, um, but dang. Okay. She said, be here in the foo. She may have a. Let me get this. Hello? I hate it when I get calls from the area near where my mother lives because I don't know if it's a hospital calling. You know what I mean? And there are those little calls that go doot doot. It makes me so mad. What do, really? I tell you, I mean, court yesterday. I love court. I love court, even when it's a little boring. But it was brutally dry yesterday, in my humble opinion. Now, except for Miss I keep wanting to call her Pepper, but it's Potter or Popel, Miss Popel. I love the forensic side of things, so I was enjoying her. But oh my gosh, everybody was like, even the people behind Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was even going, oh my gosh. I mean, I bet his wife got on him. It was funny yesterday during one of the sidebars. He turned around and looked at her, and he was just, "Hey, hon," and she went, and he went, and she went. So he just turned back around. I thought, we know who rules that roost. I loved it. It's kind of like I say this all the time. The men wear the pants in the family, but the women are telling them which ones to wear. So, excuse me. So, oh my gosh, it is so funny. It is so funny. I got a giggle out of that. That was cute. Um, but we do have some few people who are just not happy with the Baldwins bringing their child. And my humble opinion on that, it depends on the situation, but they do have someone to take care of the child while they're in court. Why is everybody throwing a fit about that? They have 7 children. I think all under the age of like 12, and they've got a little one, and you do what you have to do. People said, "Oh, he brought the child just to get sympathy." I doubt it. If you wanted sympathy, then we're moments away, as it says on the thing. If you wanted sympathy, you bring it into the courtroom, which you can't do. So the jury's not saying this. Somebody asked me about the jury, and I said this. They said that there's no way that the court could find a jury that had not heard about this. And that is true. That is true. Most of the people on this jury heard something about it in social media, but they felt that they could be impartial. Took a marketing class and learned that 70% of all car purchases are at. Yep. Hi, cats. How are you doing? We're all waiting. You got the comments, Miss Andrielle? I'll get my hands off. I apologize. Thank you for joining, cats. What is your opinion so far? I will say, I went and rewatched the opening statements. Little concerned though about the one from the defense. As I kind of watched it, I kind of felt like the defense may have hurt themselves a little bit in the way they presented him. The prosecution said that it's his responsibility. I'm paraphrasing. Basically, he should have checked the lead shooter before, and the defense said no. I would have not touched that. I would not have approached that in my opening statements. So, yeah, we've got the objection counter for the prosecution there at 25. They's at 25, so we're going to sit there and do that. Oh yes, Miss Andrielle, I got her post. So thanks for telling me. So a little bit more. I was talking about when I had to go get the door. I was talking about the dummy versus the blanks versus live rounds. On a blank, it's visibly different because the end of it's pinched. It doesn't have a lead at the end of it. And when you hold it and you shake it, you can hear a rattle. So I don't understand why they could not tell a blank from a dummy. The dummy has a lead at the end, but it has a hole bored into the side. And if a blank looks like it's all encased, but the tip is crimped with no lead, very easily tellable between a blank and a dummy and a live. So let's remove the blank. Let me see who this is. I have a prescription that comes from a special pharmacy. I don't take a lot. I only take 2 prescriptions, but this one has to come from a special pharmacy. And it takes 15 to 20 minutes every single month to get it renewed because I have to talk to them. I have to tell him how I'm doing. It's just irritating as hell. And they always call when I'm in the middle of a live, and I tell them, call me before 9 o'clock in the morning. Period. End of discussion. Put it in my file. I'm sorry. I don't put up with that very well. Forgive me. So anyway, as I was saying, that the only one that there could be a confusion is a live and a dummy, because they physically look the same, except for the dummy has a hole drilled into the side of it. So when you're sitting there, if you can't see the hole and you lay them all out and you're not seeing a hole, you can't tell if that's a live or a dummy. You have to look to see. So the only ones that, if it doesn't have a hole bored into the side, that's the second kind of dummy. If there's no hole bored inside, it looks like a live, but when you shake it, you can hear a specific kind of rattle in it. And they didn't check. They didn't shake every one before they put it in. Now, the prosecution is going to say that Baldwin was rushing. He wasn't giving them time to do their job appropriately, dot, dot, dot. He made a comment in one of the videos in the trial where they showed him in this behavior mode. And he made a very good observation. You should have a second lead shooter ready for me. Meaning, you have two lead shooters. One they use in the shot for the recording. When they stop that scene and they go to record it again, do another take, you swap out the lead shooters. While they're doing that take, she's shaking it and putting them in. She's loading it. She's making sure those are dummy rounds or blanks. And then she gives it to him and takes the other one and do this back and forth switch. But that's her inexperience. That's Hannah's Gutierrez Reed's inexperience. Baldwin is not an armorer. He's an actor. You hand him something and you tell him it's safe, he's going to believe you. No, I'm playing devil's advocate. When we get to the other side, his side, I'll be nailing him too, so don't worry. But as usual, the court is now 15, 16, 17 minutes late. This judge does not ever start on time. And then she ends right on time. So it's one of these kind of things that you go, dang it, really? So we'll wait and see. I see that some of you are in chat. Let me see. If this is your first time joining me, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. This is a new channel. We have only been streaming officially for, this is what, my fourth month, third month? I have to look. Because we started with officially streaming with the Karen Reed trial. And that started in May, was it May 16th? May, June. Or was it April? It was 8 weeks. So this is it. So it was the 16th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We're in my 12th week. We are in my 12th week. We have already gotten monetized. Yay. And we have gotten everything up and running. And I could not appreciate y'all anymore. Okay, let me grab Miss Diane. Sorry, I had to resend the link to the interpreter. She'll be on in just a minute. So, after hearing, how do I say this? I really feel that Mr. Baldwin should have been charged with the very same um, charge as Hannah Gutierrez because she was fully responsible for this. She was paid, it's her job. Um,
Am I still dark? Yes,
I think we need a little more light, though. You're very dark, babe. So, um, Hannah's fully responsible for this, in my opinion. I I don't think it's right for Alec to be facing the exact same charge as Hannah. Whether you up hers or lower his, I don't know, but in my humble opinion, that's how I feel. Um, I'm on the fence. I don't have an opinion yet as to whether guilt, perfect, Miss Diane, or not guilty. And a lovely interpreter. That looks good, babe. I can't hear you because I don't have you on live. So as soon as she gives me the ready sign, we'll get her up.
turned the overhead on
Okay.
and I
You on live?
that away. What I do with my
You in? Oh, good timing, Miss Diane. Look.
Oh, they just came in?
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah. Almost at 30 minutes late. Ooh, that irritates me.
And I forgot my peanuts. So well, I got nuts.
I won't say that. I won't go there. I am not going to go there. I am not going there.
That way.
Okay. So I'm prepared to do a little of this if need.
Okay. You know, you want a secret? If you turn your shirt around backwards, it'll bring it up to here and it's still comfortable. And you don't have to worry about cleavage.
I didn't.
You don't. I'm just telling you for future. I've learned to do that. That way I don't have to keep doing that. Okay.
Good idea.
It works really well. All right.
Cool.
I'm mute me.
Everyone's saying good morning, Miss Diane. His brother, I'm sorry. Oh, he's got hearing problems, so they have a loop for him. But I'm sorry. He looks like a weasel. I'm sorry. I've always thought he looked like a weasel.
Tomorrow I have an assignment from 8:30 in the morning till 4.
Okay, well, I guess we won't have you tomorrow. That's okay. We'll talk later. Sorry, guys. Total communication. We're just working our schedule, and we're good. So I will be interpreting tomorrow. She'll be watching me. For those who don't know, Miss Diane is over 30 years of interpreting experience. She is nationally certified. Oh, she thought I was going to say she's 30 years old. We need to work on your lighting, girl. Now you're pale again. There's not enough contrast. Not enough contrast. Yes, hold on. I'm going to remove you while you do that. And I went to college to get a degree in deaf support specialist and interpreting. And after I receive my bachelor's, I will be going and getting my national certification for interpreting. Now, she's a court certified interpreter. So, with her supervision, because she's teaching me. She's mentoring me. Um, she's helped me get past that certification and everything. I can interpret as long as she's supervising. Let me see. I'm sorry. I know that's going to drive you crazy. It's good. It's good. We'll work on getting you better lighting. Okay, let me take you off. I have a light that I can send her. I have a big light here. I have another one over here if I need it. I got my studio kind of dark today. I'm kind of liking it. Usually it's much brighter in here. But with the camera fixed and in great condition, um, I can do without all the lighting. It's all good. This is more comfortable on my eyes. Because when you have a light here, a light there, and a light there, it's just like so now. Mm, let's see when you sit back. Better. See, it's very important that the lighting's right so people can see the hands. They can understand better. But now I'm getting hot. Oh, perfect. Perfect. I thought a sign for Alec Baldwin. My sign name is AB. He's an actor, so Alec Baldwin. AB for Alec Baldwin. Hannah Gutierrez is an armorer, so I use gun control. For armor, yep, yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's too small of a movement for them to see. Yep. Uh-oh, we got something going on. Let's get this. Oh, they don't have the sound on. That ain't me. That's them. Okay. I do not know what they are. Yeah, we're trying to figure out how we're going to sign some of this stuff because it's very unique. Um, a blank um, um, bullet. Yeah, yeah. What's the difference between this and this? Empty and without clothing. Oh, you do it that way. You do it that way. Oh, empty. Oh, wait, wait. Early. Somebody asked me to ask you about that. Would you turn your mic on? I can turn it off and on my end.
Budget,
Budget.
early,
See?
that's naked. Because I would always confuse empty,
Early.
naked.
And empty.
Yeah, empty. And because this is, yeah, I was confused. Now, if I was just interpreting the fact that
To the house early, but they were empty without.
clothes, they were naked.
We got to watch that word.
Yeah.
Without clothing.
Is naked
Empty. This is we use for empty, like in a machine is empty.
Yeah,
of all of it's empty, but
yeah, it's empty.
I just do without whatever. We'll figure it. See, this is what's important about interpreting. People don't realize is that different areas of the United States use slightly different variations
Very good.
on words, and so that's why I confer because she's more of a nationally certified interpreter, where I've only dealt with my state. So it's fun to sit and compare signs. But like if we're interpreting the Star Spangled Banner, it's going to look different between each one, but both of us are right.
Really.
Gosh, they are. That AG, she is all over it. And the judge is like, I'm already fed up with this. We're going to have demonstratives. You guys, this isn't 30 minutes later. You guys should have had all this dealt with before they even put the cameras up in the court, before Baldwin even showed up. Yeah, it's a long sidebar, 30 minutes. They're still at a sidebar 30 minutes later. Mm-mm-mm. Now, which Baldwin brother is behind Alec? Is that Stephen?
That's what they said yesterday.
Stephen? Where's the other brothers? Where's the support, bro? Where's the support? He needs. Never mind. I won't go there. I'll keep it clean.
You better.
So, Andrielle, are you with me all day? Miss Ronnie, are you with me today? Miss Kevin will be here in a little bit. It was. Oh, please let this be a good day. Let this keep us awake. Stephen. Yeah, it is Stephen. They're trying to figure out the dry erase board. Why, in this generation and day and age, can you not use technology instead of blocking everybody? Primer, what is this? Since nickel brass primer live. What? Oh my gosh. This should have been figured out well before. This is irritating to me. And you're going to block the defendant, which he has a right to see the entire presentation. Oh. Oh, no problem, Andrea. Just in the private chat, just say, I'm out. I'm in. When you leave, please remove yourself from the back office, the little screen that says device not connected. Because I can only have so many of those open. When you're here, that's great. That's a way for me to know. When you leave, just remove it. But I'm Diane, this is driving me crazy.
Well, it better be a long trip.
Ugh. Baldwin, I hope you had some good sleep. I think they need to be pumping him full of coffee to keep him awake. But you know what? He does have little itty bitty eyes. I notice when he's looking down, like he's like this, and he's looking down, he looks asleep, but then when he looks right up at you, you can barely tell he's looking at you. I like to know who's in the background. I want to know who the lady in the little off white sweater with the glasses is. I want to know who everybody's sitting around him. Is that bad, Andrielle? Katz, I hope you're still with us. Thank you for joining. I want to know who that woman is. Look at his eyes. They're itty bitty. I don't think they're acting anymore, are they, Diane? I haven't seen him in a long time.
I don't know.
I haven't seen him acting in quite a while. He's having to hold that thing in a certain way to get sound. Those are horrible. Anybody who's ever used a loop system, they're awful. I've used it for many years until I got my hearing aids. Just get hearing aids, dude. You can afford them. I want to know. I wish I had face recognition program. Then I could tell you. But it looks like that woman looks like family. Does he have a sister? I mean, she looks like she could be family. Oh, there's the wife. She's like 30 years younger than him. At least 25, 30 years. But she's all serious, man. She was on him yesterday. Poor Steve looks so uncomfortable with that loop system. She is. She is. She's been up there with the judge and the defense. She's been all over that place. If her job, if her desire is to cause confusion and havoc, she's done it.
They
She
are
has
signing
definitely.
empty and naked the same way, but they also sign naked, are
See,
naked.
that's how I learned it. This is how I learned it.
I learned it this way. I learned it
Yeah.
naked, and I learned empty that way, but I also learned, well, let's see what early is.
Early.
It just,
Say without clothing, please. I get demonetized if you say that word enough.
okay, I can do that.
But I learned it this way.
Early,
Early, early,
early,
early.
empty, and without clothing, or without clothing, or without clothing.
So empty is this. Empty is
Empty, no,
out.
empty is this way.
Empty.
You
Early is that way.
poured it out. No, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. Empty, early, early.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Everybody has different ways. I think this is clear for the without clothing. You know,
Yeah.
so empty, poured out. Early comes across. Empty, early.
Early is this way.
Yep,
Early, you would think it would be this way, sun
this
coming
way. But you're signing towards the person. Early. That's towards
early,
them. It's perspective. Empty.
and
Okay.
the other one is also without clothing. You're taking it all off your hand, taking it off your kid, taking it off of you, or taking it off of you, or taking it off of you.
Got it.
So now I have two dictionaries up, and
Okay, what are you signing for objection?
like this, object,
Like complaint?
complaint, and it's like
That's what I have.
uh,
Yep. Prosecution, defense.
objects,
Yep.
More than a
Defense.
bathroom break
Yes,
or
yes.
whatever, and you just need to be patient. We're trying to
Sustain.
move the child along, okay? So, thank you. All right,
Sustained
before, I'm
is
sorry,
they don't get their way.
I don't, this probably
Overruled
isn't the most
means
appropriate time, but,
the objection
media, and
stays.
media in the war room, or
So
whatever we call it.
I one overruled would
one
judge
more
accept, so you can do
cup.
it. I
Hold on.
don't.
And everybody is not allowed to bring any liquids of any kind whatsoever. My staff is, and
Why do
our
we not have
county
any
people are not
volume?
going to be picking
there's
up scraps
captioning.
that you all could pick
Let
up.
me reboot this.
Okay. All right, sorry, I had to bring that up right now.
They
Yes,
don't have the
still
sound.
unbroken.
It's not
That'll-
me.
How do you
It's on them.
Abstain.
Hair, do you want me to?
OBST.
Yes.
Abstain.
Good morning, Investigator Pop.
Good morning.
Why do we not have sound?
Abstain.
It's on them, not on me. I'm going to go to another feed.
Objection. 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 Complaint. Accept. That's what he's doing. Protest to evidence or procedural act accepted.
She accepted the objection. I'm trying to find another feed. Let's see if they have sound. No, and they're further behind.
Okay. Objection overruled.
Okay, so we're not the only one without a feed. Okay, we're good. So we're still without sound on their end. Okay. So let's say it to me again.
Objection overruled is objection not accept.
Objection. But
Not,
this looks like allergies.
no. Allergies off the nose. This is up
This
here.
is up here. Objection, accepted, objection, not accepted.
Objection, because it's
Complaint.
complaint, not accepted. That's overruled.
We can do.
That's right. We can.
Depends on how fast they're talking.
Yeah, really.
Objection, complaint.
Not accepted or accepted. Objection, complaint, not accepted.
Denied. That's denied.
Well, denied.
Say that again.
Denied. That's
Denied.
Yeah. Denied. Off your chin.
Never seen that one. I've
Learn-
always seen denied. Good. See, I'm learning. She's teaching me. Y'all are getting free. You're learning free ASL right now. Anybody who want to learn a little?
Yeah, that's okay.
DENY.
Okay, good morning
Oh,
again. So we
Denied.
saw a lot of pictures yesterday and
Okay,
heard about some
trying to
search
remember.
warrants that were conducted.
okay.
that you were
Why do
pressed
we
for.
not?
And I'd like to
You
sort of
guys don't have
divide,
sound on. This is
what we
not
do
me.
this morning into sort of two categories: the firearm
You do?
and the ammunition. Does that make sense?
Okay. Let me do this and come back. I don't have sound. Why don't I have sound? I don't have sound. Can you hear it?
Not now. You've got it off. They're not up.
No, I don't.
The courtroom's not up.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Did you have it a second ago?
I had courtroom and sound. Yeah.
Okay, let me go to speakers. Let me go figure this out. Well, y'all have captioning. Let me share screen. I don't know why we don't have sound. I haven't changed anything. Put this up.
Then I want to
I'll
talk to
fix
you
it.
now about the ammunition piece of this, and the investigation into the source
I know where I need
of
to
the
go.
lethal
Settings.
bullet in this case
Audio.
led you to executing
Well, I am now working tomorrow.
at Seth Kenny's
I
I know.
house, right?
Yes.
And you knew that he had provided star line brass silver ammunition to the set, correct?
Yes.
What you were investigating at that time was whether it was Starline brass silver.
Why do I not
and
have
only
sound?
dummies, or if it was Starline brass silver and he also had live ammunition.
Now
in
it
his
shows
house,
I don't have
correct?
sound.
Yes.
And you did know that Seth Kenny kept live ammunition at his prop house, correct?
Testing.
I believe at that time we were looking for live ammunition. Yes.
Testing.
But you were aware of whether you
Have
found the
everything set
exact
right.
correct live ammunition that matched perfectly the
Why do
live
we not have
ammunition on
sound?
the
You
movie
just
set.
keep interpreting.
You did ultimately recover
They have captioning
some
while I
live
work on it.
ammunition, and you had probable cause to get a search warrant, right?
Yes.
And did that concern you that at a prop house that's sending out ammunition for movie sets, that there was both live ammunition and dummy rounds?
Yes.
So I want to take a step back for a second. When you go out to collect evidence on a day like October 21st, 2021, you bring with you your Nikon camera, right?
Yes.
You have gloves with you, right?
Yes.
And in a perfect world, you're trying to get to the evidence and the state of the evidence as quickly as possible. Fair?
Yes.
And so you did respond to this scene, and the first item that you collected that ended up broken was the prop gun, right?
Yes.
And when you got there, you knew that someone had touched it without gloves on, right?
Yes.
You knew that when somebody collected it, they didn't take a photo, right?
Yes.
But you did take that into evidence, and that was sort of the first item in this case that you were collecting and entrusted to keep vouchered and maintained for the course of this investigation. Is that fair?
Yes.
And it was a critical piece of evidence. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And so as you continue after that moment into the scene, you're looking for additional evidence. Fair?
Yes.
And physical evidence is critical evidence in an investigation, right?
Yes.
Because, witnesses and their memories can change. Witnesses can say one thing one day and another day, but physical evidence pretty much stays the same, right?
I'm just objecting to a compound question.
Physical evidence stays the same, right?
Yes.
And you logged all the evidence you collected in this case?
Yes.
And all the evidence collected by law enforcement in this case was ultimately logged by you?
Yes.
And by logging it, you also make it available for the defense so that we have visibility into what in fact you collected.
Yes.
And one way you figure out as you're going through a scene what evidence is relevant is you can talk to your fellow officers, right?
Yes.
You can talk to witnesses, right?
I do not. As part of I'm not an investigator, I'm a technician. So my concern is with the physical evidence. I don't do any of the interviews.
No, I know you don't do formal interviews, but in this case, you did talk to Seth Kennedy, right? You're not forbidden to speak to somebody who's at a scene.
No, I do believe we had some casual conversations, yes.
Well, but there are times where a witness could say in your presence, hey, that glove is very important. And they would say it to you in Corporal Hancock, and you would
I
know.
object to the hypothetical.
Overruled.
As I was saying, you went to Corporal Hancock could be at a scene, and somebody could say, hey, that glove was used. And you, as a technician, would say, okay, that witness is pointing out that glove, that could be important. I'm going to note that. And once I confer with Corporal Hancock, potentially take that into custody to take an inventory.
Yes, that's something that could happen, yes.
And the other thing that you do is, and you talked about this a little bit on your direct, which is you can learn information and decide what to forensically test. Fair?
Yes.
So in this case, for example, Mr. Baldwin's clothes had red on them, and you tested it for blood, right?
Yes.
And it turned out it was movie set blood, right?
Yes.
Meaning it wasn't actually blood.
Correct.
Right? So as you continue through the scene, you get to the prop cart, and you find the shell casing. And I thought this was on just a moment ago.
All right, Joe, come on. They need to fix something.
That's what you get for thinking.
You're doing
I used to say. No, they got their tech in there. All right.
Just in a way.
Starlight Brass.
It goes up
They
there.
didn't do this before. Oh yeah, this is the defenses: Starline Brass, nickel primer,
And
and
I'm
light.
putting State's Exhibit 29.
I'm just a minute, Mr. Spiro. I'm wondering if
Oh.
you're trying to figure this out right now.
I have a list of witnesses I'm keeping up on, so I know who testified on what day. Sorry about that. I had to fix it.
Thank you very much. Thank you both.
You're welcome.
And I'm showing you Exhibit 29. And I'll, in a moment, I'll show you Exhibit 28. And this is the shell casing that you recovered in this case that housed the lethal projectile, correct?
Yes.
And so, and in fact, you were able to then recover the actual bullet piece of the ammunition because you learned from Mr. Baldwin that it was at the hospital with Mr. Souza, right?
Yes.
And so you were then able to go to the hospital, and we heard from that officer, and collect the other piece of the ammunition, correct?
Yes.
And that's an example, right, of learning something from a witness and making a decision based on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And as to the prop gun, because you learned from Mr. Baldwin that he just manipulated the hammer, you didn't test the trigger of the firearm, correct?
I'm sorry. You're asking if I myself tested the.
Trigger, yeah.
I'm not qualified to do that, so it was not completed by myself.
Well, fair to say that because you learned that from Mr. Baldwin, it impacted the way that you evaluated the evidence in this
I
case.
object to the form of question. Can we approach?
Can you hear the soft music?
You spoke to Mr. Baldwin at the scene, correct?
Briefly, yeah.
Okay. And he informed you that he just manipulated the hammer and that impacted your future testing, correct?
I don't recall what he exactly stated on the scene.
Okay. Well, let me just approach you for a moment.
Counsel, I'll need a copy.
Sure. We'll provide you a copy.
Boy, that AG is like hot. Doesn't even give him a chance to give her a copy.
We're also going to need, while they're looking for that, why don't we approach?
Oh, again? Are you kidding me? She didn't. Oh, sorry. She didn't even do that the last trial this much. This is weird. Well, I think part of it is that she knows that her case has been really hindered because there's evidence she can't get in that she was depending on. So now she's trying to make it very hard on the defense.
Stephen has gray streak in his hair.
Hmm?
Stephen has a gray streak in his hair.
I don't understand. Yeah, it is very faintly. It's what I call my sidebar music. Do I need to turn it up?
Nope.
I put that up while they're in sidebar. It also helps me when I go and timestamp, which I haven't done in a while. I have to go back and get all my timestamps
Page and line.
when we're done today.
Page 3, lines 9 through 11. And I'm showing the witness. Does this,
He won that argument.
as you can see from up here, this is a lapel camera from 1021, a lapel recording from. And do you see this answer here?
She's like,
Yes, I see it.
And so,
she goes,
does that refresh your recollection that Mr. Baldwin told you that he cocked the gun?
I don't recall that conversation.
Okay.
of course you're
don't
not.
dispute
You're for
that.
the prosecution.
No, I don't dispute it. I just don't recall it.
So did but when you made the request,
Objection, let's approach.
Oh, gee, gads. Are you kidding me? Oh, really? That's what Alec Baldwin's thinking. That's a lot of objections. This is true. This is true. And Hannah's trial, Morrissey kept popping up. Mhm. How do you sign snarky? That's what I thought. Yep. That's what I thought. Show me rude. That's different. I like that better. See, sometimes as interpreters, we find signs from other interpreters that we like better. This is to end someone's life. Yep. Well, you do the K. We did this. Rude. Rude. See, it can be this way. It can be that way. There's different variations, but I like that better for rude.
I always defer to the individual that's deaf. If they give
True.
different signs.
If they correct you, you use their sign.
Yep.
They're always right with signs, whether we like them or not.
That's right. It's like if the teacher tells me the moon is made of rope or green cheese, and on the test, it's what is the moon made of? I will write green cheese.
I had to teach my kids when you're in college, a lot of times it's not always the correct answer. It's what the teacher believes is the correct answer. It doesn't matter if you disagree. It's the way it is. Okay, guys, you're spending more time in sidebar. I just do secret communication. How do you do sidebar?
Before the judge. I or go in front of the judge. I'll try it.
Just to go back to the spent shell casing for a moment, was the spent shell casing collected from inside of the church or on the cart?
On the cart.
And another question is, do you know if Mr. Baldwin's fingerprints or DNA were on the trigger of the firearm?
I do not know those results off the top of my head.
Okay. Is there a better witness that may come in to tell the jury that?
Yes.
She does.
Okay.
It.
And you were interacting
wasn't
as we
an
were left
objection.
off with Mr. Baldwin at the scene and spoke to him, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And after speaking to him, did you in fact test the hammer of the? Did you in fact request to test the hammer of the firearm for prints and DNA?
Same objection. That doesn't lay the foundation. It has to go to why she did what she did.
It's the first question, and then I'll ask why she did it.
Overruled.
Did you, after speaking to Mr. Baldwin, did you then test the hammer of the gun for DNA or fingerprints, or request that it be done?
The request that was made was after a conversation with the lab, which essentially was asking them what assistance they could provide. I believe the request was made for latents and DNA. I don't recall the specifics of what on the item they were going to specifically test. I don't know their requirements or standards when they receive a firearm. Most labs would do the testing on the entirety of the gun, but they might break it down further and do just the trigger, just the hammer, just the rough areas. I'm not certain. That's a question for their lab.
Right, but I'm just asking you, Investigator Papa, when you made the request, did you specify, given what we've learned now, we really want you to check the hammer specifically? Did you make that request?
I don't recall specifically requesting that.
And when you got to the prop cart, you could not tell from looking at it whether or not anybody had altered or moved any of the evidence, correct?
Correct.
And if somebody did, that would be a pretty serious problem in a case like this, wouldn't it?
It would be a problem in any case, yes.
Did you ever interview or review any interviews of Sarah Zachary?
No.
But one thing that you did know at this time for certain is that you were looking for Starline brass silver 45 ammunition, correct?
At that time, no, we did not know that that's what we were looking for.
When did you learn that?
That was learned later on once realizing that all of our suspected live rounds were Starline brass with a silver primer.
So all of the live rounds at the movie set were Starline brass, nickel primer, live, right?
Yes.
And this idea came up early in the investigation that what if somebody sabotaged the set and put those live rounds there? Do you recall that?
Yes.
And that was quickly dismissed in this case as not something that law enforcement thought to be realistic. Fair?
Yes.
But you also needed to investigate whether somebody from outside of the Rust set was responsible for injecting these live ammunition into the Rust set. Fair?
Yes.
And so you continue to investigate that as this case proceeds, and you executed search warrants, correct?
Not myself personally investigating it, but I believe that was something that was being investigated.
So, we looked at, and I'm just going to show you Defense A1. And what's this a picture of?
These were some of the rounds that were located loose on top of the cart.
And these live rounds being loose on top of the cart, I mean, you don't know whether those live rounds were there at the time of the incident, right?
Correct.
And again, these were all Starline brass, nickel primer live, correct?
Yes.
And you were also not certain at times when you would collect rounds, whether or not they were live or dummies.
Correct.
Some rounds you submitted to the FBI to process to figure that out.
Yes.
And if we could look at State's Exhibit 27, can you tell me what that is?
This is a photograph of the silver primers on the 2 rounds that were later discovered to be live that were on the top of the cart.
And so in this box you then collect, which is Defense A2. Right, what was your understanding of this box?
My understanding was this was the box handed to Lieutenant Benavidez that was being pulled from at the time to load the firearm. I was then placed in his unit and later collected by myself.
And when you looked inside of that box, State's Exhibit 17, what did you find?
These were the rounds inside of the box.
And can you tell the jury the significance of that round?
Yes, this round with the silver primer was a live round.
But you don't know whether somebody was rifling through this box and just missed one, do you?
No.
And you also showed the jury that these Starline brass nickel live rounds were found in other places on the set, right? This is State's Exhibit 16.
Yes.
And what is this?
This is a close-up of one of the gun holsters that has a live round in it.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 15.
This is a close-up of the gun holster that was belonging to Mr. Baldwin that has a live round in it.
And was then 15 this is 15. Was 16 the one that was the other actor, Jason Eccles?
Yes.
Okay. And so Mr. Eccles, another actor on the set, turns out that he, as he acted, as he performed, had a live bullet in his bandolier, correct?
Yes.
And you have no reason to think Mr. Eccles had any idea that was there, right?
Correct.
Your working theory, as you evaluated the ammunition and looked at the similarity between the Starline nickel live and the Starline nickel dummies, is that they could have been easily commingled. Fair?
Yes.
In other words, somebody could have mistaken one for the other, right?
Yes.
And so when you conduct then a search warrant on the church, you find additional evidence, right?
Yes.
And you talked about search warrants in your direct examination, but I just want to orient the jury a little bit to what that is. A search warrant is where you go to a court and you swear out a warrant, and the warrant tells you what you can search for inside of a dwelling or a location, right?
Yes.
And you tell the court what information you have and what you'd like to look for. Fair enough?
Yes.
And unlike somebody sort of, walking into the precinct and voluntarily giving you evidence, one of the things about a search warrant is you don't have to tell the person you're coming before you go, right?
Yes.
So as you're going into execute the search warrant on the church, and the warrants in this case, you did discuss that with Corporal Hancock, correct?
Yes, I believe we had some brief conversations about the search warrants.
And the warrant for the church, it didn't indicate that there was any specific crime you were looking for. Is that fair?
I don't recall.
She has a lot of I don't recall
And so-
on cross.
When you
Typical.
went inside of the church, you were looking for evidence, right?
Yes.
And you remember, as you ended your direct examination yesterday, Ms. Morrissey, the prosecutor, said, you keep all of this evidence so that if anyone who wants to bring any evidence, you have it, right?
Yes.
Okay. And one of the things you found in the church was the shot list for the day, right?
I don't recall that.
Do you recall collecting paperwork inside the church?
Please.
Yes.
Okay. And
Your Honor, I've already indicated to Mr. Spiro that I object to some of these, so we can approach now. I wish we had dealt with it previously.
no, I think I can just lay it and introduce them.
Well, she said she objected.
She's like, hurry up, dude. I'm ready to argue. Gee gads. I would hate to be in an argument with that woman. Always has to have the last word correct. I mean, she's good at her job, but argument? Do not want with that woman. Or you do it this way. Not with that woman. Me? Is that a bad word? My best friend's favorite phrase? She says it in just most of the time. Oh, this is going to be a day. Right now, we're at 32 objections.
Well,
She's had 12 today. Objections.
Well, I just got an email telling me I was unassigned from my assignment tomorrow.
What? Why not work tomorrow?
No, could be any reason. Could have been canceled. I certainly plan to.
So you can work tomorrow for me?
Yep.
And seriously, I know yesterday was a lot. All you have to do is your turn.
Yeah.
I'll back it up. Oh my gosh, yay, she's with us tomorrow. Woo, 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 woo. Oh, we love Miss Diane. I love this, Andrea. Witness memory is always better on direct. Yeah, ain't that the truth? But I have to say, this witness did not do the same thing in the Hannah Gutierrez trial. She didn't say, don't remember, can't recall, none of that. All of it was much smoother the last trial. I got to get that down. Hey, Colleen. How are you, beautiful? We are at sidebar. Sidebar. I think we spell it like this. I think that's how we say it, sidebar. That's a Karen Reed trial word. What? My connection's just fine. Let me pull the video feed. I'm fine. This is getting redundant. Hey, Ronnie, we need an emoji to use for Morrissey every time she objects. Find us an emoji, please, that we can put up when we have an objection. Right now, we are at 32. That's 12 objections this morning, and they've only been officially active in court 30 minutes. Yeah, it's a lot. Any news going in? Does anybody know what happened with Turtle Boy's case from Monday? He was supposed to have a hearing, and I have not seen what came out of that hearing. Oh, there it is. 1 hour ago. Okay, they speak out. He won't mind if we play this. I'm going to share screen. Let me enlarge this if I can. Let's play this while we're in sidebar, and I'll hop back on when I need to.
He did nothing but make every effort to comply with the order and get out of there when she showed up, and she tried to flush him out of there like a quail, and he got out of there in compliance with the order. And she then appeared outside in front of the courthouse. So we need to see all the video and all the evidence to that effect.
Ada, any sort of comment? You get this, and then you have your other hearing.
Yeah, I mean, this is a distraction. What's happening in this courtroom right now? I came after being falsely accused of a crime that I was charged with that were dropped the day that I got out, the day that my bail was revoked, the day I got out of jail. They dropped the charges because they knew.
Okay, we're back. We'll play that more at the next sidebar, which won't be too long from now, I'm sure.
Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court.
Uh-oh, recess? Uh-oh. Why do we have a recess? We just started.
To go pee-pee.
Unless they're going to argue this away from the jury. Is this a voir dire? Okay, I guess this is going to be a voir dire. Andriel, are you still in the background? What's going on? Why did they pull it? Okay, we'll share this until we know.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. Yeah, let me get back up. Yep.
I need you to send me an email. I don't know if you can back time it, but from about.
Why don't we?
Huh?
Send it in instant messenger because we're live.
Here.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead while they're doing this and finish playing this.
I came back 3 days later for a Karen Reed hearing, as I always do. For the first time, this individual showed up at a Karen Reed hearing, had never come to one before in the past. During my incarceration, she had apparently palled up with the McAlberts, and she showed up to court with Jennifer McCabe, who had a huge smile on her face, and forced me to leave the courtroom. I complied with it. I asked the officer where to go. He sent me across the street to the Registry of Deeds, where I remained. At no point did we interact. At no point did I even see her afterwards. She didn't even call the police till 5 hours later. She called the police at 2:30 to report that her car was vandalized and didn't tell Officer Kozak that anything about a restraining order violation. Now they've entered in some screenshots of me standing in the grassy knoll over at the Registry of Deeds with no context. There's no video. We don't know where she is. We don't know who took these videos, and it's all just a lie, and it's a distraction from the real important case, which is across the street where the First Amendment is on trial in Norfolk.
All right, that's all we have. So,
Hold on.
yeah, that was not good, y'all. That's not good. That's not fair for him. That's not correct. If that's one thing I hate about restraining orders is if the person who has the restraining order shows up, the other person must leave. Must have to. And then if the person shows up again, the other person has to leave. To me, that was chasing him. I don't like it. Not at all. Not at all. So I don't know why they didn't explain why we are where we are. They're taking a short break, I guess, to argue out what's happening. There's no way this case is going to be done in 2 weeks at this pace. Oh, that's okay, Andrea. I just wanted to know if you were popping the comments or not. Just like, did you send it? Oh, let me see who's at the door. I got to grab the door. I'll be right back, Miss Diane.
Request and back in time. And back time it. Okay. I know. Okay. Request review for the month. So, to
Sorry about that.
okay.
Oh my gosh. Where did you send it, Miss Diane?
The green messenger. Green. Do you have an iPhone?
Yeah.
Okay, then it's in the green circle.
What are you talking about?
Show you.
Did you send it instant messenger?
Yeah, just.
Oh, you sent it in text. In text. I don't have a text from you, love. What phone number? Last four.
2939.
No. 5550. Copy and paste it.
Right. The little green right?
Yes, I see it. No, wait. I can't see there it is. Nope, it's not there.
I sent it
You,
Ada.
that's not my phone number.
Oh, I sent it to AdaKay Brown.
Look at me. Look at me.
Hold on.
If you know sign language, you're going to get my number.
I know. 837 55 50 5550. So, hey, look at me. 83.
Oh, Lefty. Really? No, you're doing fine, Andrell. You're doing good, babe. Welcome, Lefty. We're trying to find a fun emoji for our wonderful, what is she called? Prosecutor. Oh, she is a spicy woman, barbed woman. We can always do that one. We can be mean and do that one. The other one will be good for the judge. I'm so mean. Kitty, you're allowed in here, but you give me any trouble, you're out. Go chase the hair tie. This kitten loves your little hair bands. She will play hours with a hairband and rip everything up. I can't hear you. Now I can.
My kitten plays fetch with them. Shoot them across the room, and she'll go get them and bring them back. She'll drop them in your lap. And she won't leave you alone till you shoot it again. So she can play with you. You be dead, and she brings them to you.
I'm not going to get started with that. No, we're not going to teach her that trick.
Oh, yeah. It's hysterical.
Nope. We're not treating her with that.
Sometimes she runs so fast, she runs and she slides into the wall, and I hear a thump, and her back end goes up.
My dog does that. But as long as little girl is behaving and not going for the cords, she can be in here.
Yeah. When I am not in here, I keep my door shut.
Oh, she's like, I didn't want you to pick me up. I know she's feeling good when she does that. Yeah. Oh. Look at this. Compared to the other day, she was so lethargic. Hi. Let's get you.
You have your black one.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
he's 15.
I want my Henry. I stole him. I need you to back time it to about 8. Look.
I am so happy. She's filled out again. She's got weight on her. She was so skinny and very stiff. And her eyes, I mean, she was in the throes of passing away, and I pulled her out. We fixed it. We did. I'm glad you made it, you little stinker. She only wants to be held when she wants to be held. Typical kitty. So she's tolerating this, but she's not happy about it. There, Diane, it's coming through. Want to play with your tail? I'm happy to see her being a little feisty. It was scary for about 3 days.
Yeah.
But we got her, don't we, baby? Say, I don't like being on TV. Hey, look. She's all like, I don't like being on TV.
I'll be right back. I got to get my peanut.
Okay, go get your peanuts. Just a good girl. Okay, you can get down and go play. Just don't disconnect cords or I get mad. He loves cords. Oh, but I don't like that fuzz in my face. Let me see. Oh, here's a picture of me interpreting when I was with Miss Diane. Let's see what I was doing. Yeah, we were at an event. Let's see what this one is. Not a flattering angle. Yep, can't do that. That may be copyrighted. But yeah, she and I have worked together before multiple times. Well, guys, short break is turning into a long one. Let's see if I can find something for us to watch. Let me see what else I can find. Okay, let's see what he... Okay, this is 47 minutes ago. People are asking who this guy who showed up in court today and got reprimanded for taking pictures inside. His name is Tony Federico, a Weymouth police officer reached out in disgust after he attempted to profit off of the... Okay, this is... I don't know who this is. Wow. Waiting to hear more about what happened at Turtle Boy's hearing. We don't have a whole lot. There's not a lot of chatter that I can find right now on Twitter, X, whatever you call it. Let me go to YouTube. Everybody's streaming this trial. Yeah, everybody streaming. Let's see. Oh my gosh. What is he saying? Okay, so everybody is on hold. Nobody's got anything new. So one thing I noticed is when they had the hearing before trial, the motions, one of the things was that they talked about was about having... Diane, you're back on. About having... Just let you know, you're on screen. All right, Miss Andriel, be blessed, beloved. Hi, Miss Karen, but not a Karen. We are all doing great. We are. This court, though, is driving me back crazy. Driving me crazy.
I gotta go again. I'll be back.
So what's happening here is this. I was kind of watching some of the motions, rewatching, and one of the things that was highly discussed was how the objections were going to be handled. And the judge got really irritated with them and almost said they are all going to be handled up at the bench. But basically, they were not going to be speaking objections. And the Attorney General, Morrissey, was on board with that. No speaking objections, blah, 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 blah. Well, guess what? She's doing all of the objecting. I don't recall the defense having a single objection yet. And the prosecution has 32. Oh, go lay down, Sensei. I know she's with you. Go lay down. You can share. It's okay. Good girl. You can share. The kitten comes and lays next to the dog, and she's like, I got to get off my bed. A cat this big taking over a bed, huge. It's okay, Sensei. Good girl. So anyway, all this time, 90% of the objections have been spoken objections. Instead of saying objection, hearsay, and leaving it. Yes, Karen, but there is some presentation differences. And they're leaving a lot out that wasn't in the HGR. And, well, I might as well be interpreting what I'm saying. I'm being rude. So a lot of the information that was in the trial is not exactly the same here. The witness that's on the stand right now, she is crime scene investigator and a tech. She gathers all of the evidence. Is not being as cooperative as the last time. She is saying more of, I can't recall that conversation a lot more than she did the last time with the Hannah Gutierrez Reed trial. So it's interesting. Yeah. Alec Baldwin is tired. He was doing this yesterday in court. He was trying to stay awake. It was so dry yesterday, I was trying to stay awake. And I think in some ways it is the same, but I'm finding interesting to try to stay engaged as I'm looking for what's different. That's how I'm approaching this. I've heard all of this before, same as y'all, but I'm more interested in what is going to be different. What I'm not liking is this short break has now become a long one. Court was supposed to start at 9:30. It did not. It really started at 9:51. They've had 12 objections from the prosecution, none from the defense, and the prosecution is wanting a lot of sidebars, and I'm not liking that. So what are y'all doing today while you're listening to me here? I have a friend that's outside gardening. I think what I'm going to do is take this time to go and get me some food because I'm not sure when lunch is going to happen, and I've not had breakfast, so I'll be right back. Please stay and enjoy the music. I'll be right back. We's back, everybody. Thank you so much for waiting. Yes, I know, Sensei. Here you go. Good morning. For those who have just joined us, we welcome you. We welcomed you and appreciate you so very much. This has been a very interesting day. Not a lot of testimony, but a ton of sidebars. A lot of sidebars. I know, y'all. I'm having plain popcorn. I had a friend who put pickles on her popcorn. She'd mix it with pickle relish.
Their own.
Huh?
Each to their own.
Yeah, I know. Like, have you seen people putting pickles in their Dr. Pepper at Starbucks?
No.
I mean, not Starbucks, at Sonic. Diane, I will send that to you when we have a lunch break.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. You have my notebook? Yeah, pretty.
I do. Purdy.
My philosophy, if it doesn't bling, throw it away. Throw it
Bling,
away.
bling, bling, bling.
Yep.
Everybody's got to bling.
Yep.
I even blinged your ears for you.
Yes, yes.
My ear. Good morning, Miss Kevin. Take a breath, Miss Kevin.
I should have hit my car.
I don't think you can hear me. Hey. It has been a day. There has been very little testimony, a lot of objections, a lot of sidebars, and it's crazy.
We are still on the first witness.
Mm-hmm. They didn't start until 9:51, and they have spent 80% in sidebars.
I need you to send me the name of your cushion.
Okay. I'll send you the link in Amazon.
Yeah.
You liked it, huh? It was worth every penny.
Oh, I'm sure.
I still have it. Miss Kevin, are you doing well?
The derriere shrinks, it's still worth it.
Hmm?
I said, as the it is still worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! These are hot.
What are you eating? Spicy nuts? Spicy nuts?
Little spicy and sweet, but I don't taste the sweet. Only the spicy.
We're all good, Miss Kevin. My lunch.
I love that. And I love it with black pepper. Black pepper on it.
Kitty is gone cray.
Huh.
She just knocked over my trash. Kitty. Why are we still at a sidebar?
Because they are discussing.
More than discussing. Look at the judge, and she's like, stop. And then, of course, the AG is like,
nope.
I wonder what they're trying to keep out. Because the AG called this sidebar everybody went for break. They come back in. They're still at a sidebar, and it's all because the AG called it. So she's trying to keep something out. What is she trying to keep out? Pray tell, people. Pray tell. Pray tell. Let me know what you think. And of course, this witness is still on the stand. I mean, I don't understand how they think they're going to get this done in 2 weeks if the prosecution keeps moving at this pace.
Well, it's like this. It will be what it is.
Oh, she's walking back with a smirk on her face. I guess she won that argument.
Well, not really.
You tell a lot by her body language. She's like, no. We're not doing that. She does not have a poker face. Oh.
Oh, she's so bad.
She's got the computer. So this is about letting some evidence in, I presume. I have a friend who can't stand the cottage cheese, the look, the smell.
Oh, when I was a kid, no, but now that I'm an adult, love it with black pepper.
I can't believe it's not bagel seasoning. I'll put some mustache. I'll put salt, pepper. I'll put any kind of fruit with it.
I like it on a cracker.
That?
A plain saltine cracker.
I want to do. How many of y'all have done this? You can take cottage cheese, and I haven't done it because I need to go get some parchment paper.
I've seen that. I've seen
yes, and I want to mix it with avocado and make a bread for keto diet.
Yep. I have seen some say, "Oh, it's terrible," and I've seen some say, "Oh, it's wonderful."
I guess you really must like cottage cheese. I do sour cheese.
And I saw a way to make your own cheese if your milk goes sour. Yeah, really, really easy.
Yeah, it is. And the prices of milk nowadays, my gosh, all the food prices have gone up. They're saying it costs 25% more this year to feed a family than it did last year.
Last night, remember I told you that the ex, he thinks he cooks better than he does. Remember? Well, last night.
Don't let him cook.
I can salvage anything. And so I had frozen some chicken soup with some veggies and noodles, and that was good. But I took the chicken, the barbecued chicken he had cooked to death in the oven, and I broke it up. I put it in my Vita mix because I had bought one for myself last year. And I put some of the soup in with it and did it up. Salvaged it, made the soup like a cream soup.
Cream chicken soup.
Yeah. So the flavor with the light barbecued flavor in it. So I salvaged the dead, overcooked chicken. And he says,
the non-living overcooked chicken.
Yes. The non-living overcooked barbecued chicken.
Let me go kick the kitten out because she's starting to get real feisty and drive me crazy. Yeah. There you go, Sensei. Lay down. I got rid of her. You're good. Oh, lay down, baby girl. Girl. My poor girl.
Really, really good. And
Oh, that's awesome.
he was going to the store. So when he got home, I said, there's soup and bread if that's what you want. And I'm sure he had bought himself dinner. He said, oh, yeah, that sounds good. He ate almost all that was left. So, fine.
Wow.
He has no, what's the word? He doesn't have any self-control or moderation. He doesn't have. He will just eat. He'll be full, but he'll still just eat. That's why he's.
Well, I guess it's because that's his wife, but usually they're not allowed to talk across there. Oh, she's so supportive. They truly love each other. You know, they have a new TV show coming out.
Those two?
Uh-huh. It's like the Kardashians, but the Baldwins.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Especially after this.
Hopefully he won't be in jail.
I think he's innocent. I don't think he planned to kill the woman. I think
to end life.
Yeah.
I know it's hard. It's hard to cut these words.
I think that somebody was not paying attention to what they were doing and stuff. So those rounds, did you like that? I caught that word.
Well, listen, do you remember the Crow movie when that young gentleman got injured and did not survive his injuries? It was a piece, I haven't either, but it was a piece of the blank or dummy there's debris in the barrel. And so now they have this rod that they're supposed to put in to ensure when they reload, they have to put the rod in to ensure there's nothing in the chamber. I mean, in the barrel. There's procedures, and she wasn't doing any of that. And so anyway, this guy years ago, he was fatally injured by a piece of debris in the chamber. So when the blank went off, it propelled it. And it was considered a workplace accident. Okay?
Yeah.
It was the armor's responsibility to make sure that the lead shooter was empty.
Yeah. And she didn't.
But they didn't go after the person who fired the lead shooter. It wasn't their responsibility. I think I'm going to get a darker red. What do you think on my lips? I look awfully pale. I'll be back. Y'all look gorgeous, y'all. Mm-hmm.
Gorgeous, just gorgeous.
I got to get on screen so I can see what I'm doing. Ronnie, arrogance? Yeah, he is. I got to do this so I can see what I'm doing. Arrogant, he is. But does that mean he's guilty? Arrogance, does it equal guilt? I got to be closer up. I can't see. Nope, got to do it this way. Red is very difficult to put on good. It is. Boy, you think that's good? What do you think about those lips?
Hey, yeah. What color is that?
Red.
I like that.
This is Limelight by Alcone. It's my cosmetic line that I sell. And this one here is my favorite red because almost everybody can wear it. It's got a little blue, a little bit of a little warm, a little cool.
Send it to me. I really like that.
Oh, you can get it on my website.
Oh, I know, but I will have to wait. I like
and the trick?
I don't know where I get it.
Do that so that doesn't get on your teeth.
Yeah, I like this because it's a lip oil. It's really nice.
Well, if you have dry lips, that works great. But if you don't, it's going to bleed real quick.
Yeah.
Into the creases. Let's see. Arrogant movie star, yeah. Yes, he is my nephew, works on set up in the movie sets. He didn't work on rest, but one had heard how arrogant. Yeah. True. Lime Life by Alcone. Let me. Limelight by Alcone. Okay, now one thing you need to know: this company is all natural, all organic. It's safe, and it's health. You don't have to worry about cancer-causing chemicals in it. Yeah. The other thing about it is slightly a little more expensive because it's extra pigmented. It will last you a long time. I've had this almost a year, and I use it a lot. So, yeah, it's good stuff. The foundation I have on is from there. Everything I have on, and it doesn't sweat off. It is made for theatrical. Beyonce uses it. That's her foundation. Star Wars. Do you remember the Princess Amidala, the one that was all white with the little red? The company Limelight by Alcone created that foundation for her.
Wow.
And now I sell it.
Good morning again. So I'm just going to. We're going to tap this. This is.
This is long wear, but it doesn't stain your lips.
It is tough.
Enduring lip color. And it looks even better when you put a lip gloss on it.
Right.
So they don't look dry.
So I'm now moving for admission for A3.
Mm-hmm. Now we're in court. Why can't? What's up with the volume? We're full. Come on.
For the foundation. As you stated on direct, and we're just going to put up states 21.
An hour for this.
If I can publish that, it's in evidence.
Literally. While we're waiting, if you're going to have hot lips, don't wear a whole lot of eye color. Doesn't look good.
As you testified yesterday, you collected items from the church that you thought were relevant to this case, correct?
Yes.
And some of the things that you thought gave insight into what happened, correct?
Yes.
And including in those was a copy of the script and the shot list, correct?
I believe there was paperwork that was photographed, but I don't believe it was collected.
Okay. Well, I'm going to pass up to the witness what is marked as A3.
This is, oh, I'm going to pause it real quick. I know y'all don't like it, but I don't want to talk over. This is what the prosecution was fighting to keep out, because this is when she objected, is the shot list and the script, because they were saying that Baldwin was not supposed to pull, or I should I say, the lead shooter was not supposed to fire at all during this shot. It was just a show. It wasn't a bang. And I think this is where we're going, because obviously the prosecution lost because it's coming in.
Yes.
And what are those?
It appears to be scene paperwork.
That you collected.
Yes.
And those are fair and accurate photographs?
Yes.
Okay. Offer them as evidence.
I don't believe that's an adequate foundation.
What more do you want him to do?
But what we discussed at the bench, but I mean, obviously I defer to the court, but I'm relying on the conversation we had.
Well, all right, so they are conditionally admitted pursuant to the discussion up at the bench.
So I'm going to now publish A3.
Yeah,
And
Karen.
can you read that last sentence?
definitely.
Russ Colt cocked quietly now.
And I'm now going to publish 811. Let's see if this will allow me to zoom in focus. Can you read that, or does it not focus right?
I cannot read that.
Okay, I apologize. I'm going to pass it up to the witness. If it's not, oh, it works like this, I guess. Does it? So it's supposed to focus on its own. It's supposed to autofocus, so this is not my fault, just so you investigate. Okay, permission to approach.
Macro on hammer as thumb cocks it. And then line 6 is frontal slow push in on Rust, his hat down, motionless.
Thank you. And you found and photographed these documents in the church in the vicinity of where Ms. Hutchins fell, correct?
I believe the first photograph, the first paper was, I don't recall where the second paper was located.
And if we look at states 21, I'll have that up on the screen just for a moment. When you collected these documents, you thought they were important, correct?
When I photographed them, yes.
Sorry, I apologize. When you photographed them. And the reason you thought it was important is because you thought it reflected what would have happened in the scene, correct?
I understood that there was a mentioning of a firearm in the paperwork, which is why I thought it was important.
Right, because it's actually just because you thought to yourself at the time and that it actually described what he's doing, right?
I believe at the time, yes.
And you said to your fellow officers that you think it's important because it confirms Mr. Baldwin's statements, correct?
I don't recall stating that, but it could be something that I stated.
What do you recall, my dear?
And you indicated that you thought it was hers, meaning Ms. Hutchins' paperwork, correct?
I believe that one of those papers does have her name on it, which is why I thought it was hers.
Right. And the other paper that you already testified to, A3, was found around where she fell, correct?
Yes.
And it contains the shot list and the script for that day, correct?
I don't know
Objection,
exactly.
Foundation. Sorry.
So you have laid
Did
the
you
foundation?
Yeah, did you believe at the time that what you were looking at may have reflected things that were supposed to occur in the church?
Yes.
You also recovered Miss Hutchins' cell phone, correct?
At a later date, I believe.
And that was sent to Byron French and the investigation division to extract the cell phone results eventually, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Now, you tried to find video recording in the church, correct?
Yes.
But the video cameras for the scene in question did not record that day, so you were not able to find that. Fair?
Because the camera crew
They
walked off.
recorded a portion of that day. There was a recording that was recovered.
And you didn't find any live ammunition in the church?
Yes, there was one live round located inside the church.
There was, okay. And where was that found?
That was in Mr. Baldwin's holster.
Right, so, right, the bandolier that we were talking about before?
Yes.
Okay. And you have no reason to think that Mr. Baldwin had any idea that was there, right?
Correct.
At that scene, and at this time in the investigation, Detective Kano was in charge, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
So while you're now then leaving the church, and we're going to move on, okay, you have to figure out how ammunition works on a movie set, right?
Yes.
That wasn't something that you were familiar with before the incident in question, right?
Correct.
And you sort of became the subject matter expert on that topic, right?
Yes, I'd say so.
Right. I mean, you were
For
called
the sheriff's
into,
office.
for the sheriff's office, right? But also you'd be called into meetings with Corporal Hancock and the prosecutors and try to educate them on those topics. Isn't that fair?
Yes.
Okay. I mean, you weren't running the case, were you?
No.
But you were there to assist not only with the evidence, but to be a specialist on this sort of unique topic. Fair?
Yes.
And again, you said this on direct, but I think it got a little confusing perhaps. But there are never supposed to be live ammunition on a movie set.
That's you, dude. Ooh.
Okay, go ahead. Yours is on though, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. You understood that there should never be live ammunition on a movie set, right?
Yes.
And the one type of ammunition that occurs on movie sets is blanks, and those are the ones that just go poof, right?
Correct.
Okay, and I'm just showing you 812 that's in evidence, right? And those have a like a crimped top, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
As
he's
opposed to
looking
dummy
at the
rounds,
screen. He's not
right?
asleep.
I'm showing you 811 that's in evidence, right? Which look like real bullets, right?
Correct.
And there were different types of dummy rounds, as I think you said on direct. But you can't tell necessarily that a dummy round is a dummy round just by looking at it.
Not always, no.
Some
Hello,
dummy rounds
Zach.
have holes in them, right?
Yes.
Others have their primers removed.
Welcome.
Yes.
Some of them do not have holes in the side or their primers removed.
Correct.
Some of them don't make a noise when they're shaken, called Denex rounds.
Yes.
And some dummy rounds look exactly like live rounds, correct?
Yes.
And those look exactly like live ammunition, fair?
Yes.
And those type of exact replica dummy rounds were on the set of Rust, right?
Yes.
And those were Seth Kenny's dummy rounds, right?
Yes.
And in terms of identifying dummy rounds by shaking them, right, which is something you talked about on direct, some of them are louder than others, right?
Yes.
Some of them have one BB or two BBs in them or three BBs in them, right?
Yes.
Sometimes if you shake a bullet, you can hear the powder, or because of oxidation, you can hear things inside of a bullet when you shake it, right?
Yes.
And depending on the setting of something would impact the person's ability to hear it. Isn't that fair?
Yes.
So, right, if I shook a dummy round right now in a courtroom in front of a microphone, right, it would probably be, you would be able to hear it. Would you agree?
Yes.
But if people are all moving around in a movie set, you don't know that everybody would be able to hear it. Isn't that fair?
Not everyone, no.
And it depends on the person's hearing level.
Don't shake at all. Isn't that
At his age, he probably has some hearing loss. And it would be the high pitches first, right, Diane?
The only way to determine definitively is to send them to the FBI and to take apart the dummy round to figure out what the powder is inside of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The powder inside of a dummy round?
Yeah,
Or the
moving
ball
on.
Bearings?
Well, the ball bearings versus the powder that could be in a live ammunition.
Yes,
right?
that would be the comparison, yes.
And so one of the questions that I'm going to ask you is there different grades of gunpowder used in blanks versus live rounds?
I do not know the answer to that question.
Okay. And so as you proceed in this case, you are then executing the prop truck search at the scene of Rust, right?
Yes.
So about a week after the incident, approximately, you go back to the setting of Rust and you execute a search warrant on the truck that housed the prop cart that you found the shell casing on, right?
Yes.
And when you went to do that search warrant, it was light outside, right?
Correct.
And you were with your fellow officers, Hancock, Kano, Sergeant Zook was there, correct?
Yes.
And you had a good working relationship with all of these people, right?
Yes.
And Detective Hancock and Kano, signed off on what you collected as detectives involved in this, right?
Yes.
And Sergeant Zook, who was their supervisor, signed off as well. Fair?
Yes.
And there was a witness there that day that assisted law enforcement with the search of the prop truck, right?
Yes.
A man named Seth Kennan.
Correct.
And not only did he assist, he actually was the one that opened the safe, right?
Yes, he had the combination too.
Well, do you know how he got the combination?
He was the owner of the safe.
You sure about that?
That was my understanding.
You collected dozens of guns from the safe, right?
Yes.
And you understood that there were a dozen plus actors, extras, stuntmen that used firearms on the set of Rust?
Yes.
Just like we talked about with Mr. Ackles and his bandolier, right? A lot of these actors may have at one point or another, unbeknownst to them, God forbid, had live ammunition on them, right?
Yes.
And the prop truck, we can look at A13, was a little disorganized. I don't know if it's quite at the level of the cart, but it was a little disorganized, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll just show A14 for completeness. And inside the prop truck, there were boxes, right?
Yes.
Boxes of ammunition.
Correct.
And these boxes are sort of, a lot of them are the same shape, make, model, white box, right?
Yes.
And I'm just going to show you 816, which is a close-up. And do you notice one box that looks a little different than the other boxes?
Yes, there is.
And which box is that?
The box in the center, instead of it being stamped, it has handwritten in blue marker, dummy rounds 45 LC.
Right, and I'll just blow up that, which is in State's Exhibit 19, right?
Yes.
And you don't know who wrote that.
Long C equals long Colt.
And if we could look at A22, can you tell us what that is?
Out of context, no, I can't.
Okay, well then we're going to look at A23.
Can you move it up? Thank you. Sure. This is the rounds that were inside of that box with the styrofoam insert that were removed.
Okay. And you see that they are star-line brass, nickel dummy rounds, right?
Yes.
And again, the difference between a star-line brass nickel-plated dummy round and a live round is effectively that one has powder inside and the other does not, right?
Yes.
And do you know where all the ones in this box went, the ones that are missing?
I do not.
So we're in the prop truck and you have Starline brass, you have nickel primer, but they're not live, right?
Correct.
And you don't know when that box ended up getting to the prop truck, moved to the prop truck. You don't know any of that background, right?
Right.
You don't know if somebody placed that box with the handwriting on it into that Mary Kay bag, do you?
No.
And on the prop truck that housed all the ammunition, was there any live ammunition on the prop truck?
No.
So I want to ask you something, Investigator Popple. Did that surprise you?
No, not necessarily.
Well, you've got all this, you're finding these live rounds all over the set, right?
Yes.
Sort of seem to be a little bit of everywhere without much cohesion between where you're finding them, right?
Yes.
And they're housed originally in the prop truck, right?
Yes.
And so you go a week later to the prop truck, which has all the ammunition, right?
Yes.
And there's not a single live round there, right?
Correct.
Why did law enforcement wait a week to go to the prop truck?
The search warrant needed to be written. I'm not sure of why the time difference occurred exactly.
Okay. You, well, I mean, the search warrant for the church that we talked about on the 21st, you guys were able to do in one day, right? The same day that the incident happened, you did the search warrant on the church, right?
We did it the next day.
Well, you got the warrant on the 21st, you did it the 22nd. Is
Correct.
that fair?
Yes.
I apologize. So if you could do a search warrant in one day for one thing, why does it take 7 days to do a search warrant for something else?
I do not know the circumstances of why there was that time frame.
And so on direct examination,
FYI, search warrants can be gotten within an hour. It depends on how much you fight for them, I guess.
you pointed out that, and this is States 30. You said that these were the Seth Kenny dummies in the box, right?
Yes.
And you talked about that a bit on direct examination, right?
Correct.
And I think you were making a point that Seth Kenny's dummies look a little bit different than the live ammunition found on set. So perhaps there was a way to distinguish them. Was that the import of your testimony?
Yes.
But if you look at the picture of the Seth Kenny box as it's being opened, right? How many rounds are in there?
So there are 17.
So then how do you explain why there's more rounds in your picture of those dummies taken out of the box?
If I can refer to my report to refresh my memory.
It's fine with me, Your Honor.
Yeah.
It is, Your Honor. Are you able to refresh your recollection?
Yes.
Do you have an explanation for that?
Yes, so I apologize. The photo that was just up of the 22 rounds were actually removed from a bandolier that was located inside of the prop truck.
Defense A26, right?
Yes.
And it has the exact number as the picture you showed the jury, right?
Yes.
Okay. And in fact, the real picture of the ammunition that comes out of Seth Kenny's box is this one, A27, right?
Yes.
And I saw you counting.
I just wanted to make sure the number of rounds.
Fair enough. No, I think that's a good way to that's how I figured it out. That's the right one, though, right?
Yes.
And there's something important about this picture, isn't there?
Yes.
Doesn't that Seth Kenny round look exactly like the live round?
Under a camera flash, I suppose it could.
Well, I don't know about suppose it could. I mean, we'll look at the shell casing, Exhibit 28. And we'll go back. A27. We can go back. States 28. Don't you think they look an awful lot alike?
They look similar, yes, but I can still see differences.
Well, I mean, you're a trained investigator, right?
A trained crime scene tech, yes.
Even more than an investigator, a crime scene tech, right?
Correct.
You have your Nikon 700 flash in your camera, right?
Yes.
You have the opportunity to take this
Get away from the
back
mic.
to the precinct, lay it out, and photograph it, right?
Yes.
You have no reason to think anybody on the set of Rust was able to do that, do you?
No.
You turned in your report in this investigation. Hancock signed off on it, correct?
My supervisor signed off on my report.
Sergeant Zook?
At the time, yes.
Why didn't you just say yes? Come on, woman.
So we're still on the topic of the ammunition, and you and law enforcement were trying to figure out the source of the live ammunition, correct?
Yes.
In fact, it was incumbent upon you to try to find the source, because if there were people sending live ammunition to movie sets, that would be very dangerous condition, wouldn't it be?
Yes.
And as you were going about your search, Seth Kenny actually walked into the precinct one day and gave you ammunition, right?
Yes.
Okay, you remember that, right?
I do.
That was. Did you think Mr. Kenny was being helpful?
I believe so, yes.
I mean, were you suspicious at all of that?
That was not my place to be suspicious of him. I hadn't had much interaction with him.
Yeah, I mean, it may not have been your place to, but I'm just asking you if after this point, Seth Kenny, comes knocking on the precinct and shows you all some rounds, whether or not that
Asked and answered.
Ooh.
I don't believe it was.
Overruled.
I'm just asking whether it's your place to be or not. I'm just asking when the man showed up and just presented ammunition to the precinct, did that make you suspicious at all?
No.
Well, let me ask you this. I bet it didn't surprise you that he didn't turn in the exact matching lethal ammunition, did it?
No, I wasn't surprised by that.
Okay. And so what he turned in, and now you have your report there if you need to refresh, but he walks into the precinct, and this is Seth Kenny. All right. And he gives you two different types of shell casings or ammunition, right? He gives you Starline brass. He gives you spent shell casings, right?
Yes.
And those were Starline brass, nickel primer, but they weren't live, right? They had been shot or they were spent shell casings, right?
If I can refer to my report to refresh. I don't recall if any of them were Starline brass.
If you turn to the last page.
Is there a specific item number that you're referring to?
Item set, I think 215. You're going to be better at determining these reports than me.
Yes.
Okay. And he brought you, again, he also gave you live ammunition with nickel primers, but they weren't Starlight brass, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he just seems to have, he just missed sort of on what you were looking for, right?
Yes.
Because you were.
Yeah, objection to the form of question. She doesn't know what Seth Kinney's motives are.
No, I don't, I don't.
He's
Overruled.
I mean, you know that if Seth Kenney provided the live ammunition to the set, that's worse for Seth Kenney, right?
It's worse for whoever provided it. Yes.
I agree. So, but as members of law enforcement, you all know that the person who provided that would have a motive to not be found. True?
Yes.
So you headed to execute a search warrant at Seth Kenney's prop house, right?
Yes.
And a judge signed off on that search warrant, correct?
Yes.
Because you had probable cause to believe that there was live ammunition that matched the ammunition that killed Miss Hutchins, right?
Yes.
And this was you and again, Detective Hancock and Sergeant Zook, right?
Yes.
And yeah, I wanted to ask you, how come you executed the search warrant at night?
I don't recall.
And I wanted to ask you, how come Detective Kano waits outside?
I don't believe that Detective Kano was there the entirety of the search warrant.
So, well, while he was there, you know, do you know why? Do you have any information as to why he didn't come inside?
I do not.
Before you went on the search, you discussed it with Detective Hancock, correct?
Yes.
And just like the truck we talked about, you all had done nothing to secure this prop house while before you got the search warrant, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And tell the jury, how long did you wait to execute the search warrant at the prop house?
I don't recall.
Well, on direct examination, you knew the dates right away. Don't you remember? You nailed it.
Oh,
10/27, November 30th. Right?
I apologize. I thought you were asking from when it was written to when it was executed.
Oh, no, I apologize. Yes.
We executed the search warrant on November 30th.
Okay. So that was a month and a week, at least, right? After the incident in question.
Yes.
Okay. And just like the truck, you're executing the search warrant, and who was there to help you?
Seth Kinney.
And your purpose was to find the matching ammunition, correct?
Our purpose was to locate any .45 caliber live ammunition.
Well, sure, but the ultimate investigation that you all were conducting was to try to solve the open question of how the lethal round got on a movie set, right?
Yes.
And you talked a little bit about this when we talked about the prop cart, how the disorganization of it could lead to commingling, right?
Yes.
How was the organization of the prop house?
Some things were organized and some were not.
Well, if you could give us a sense, did you find it to be more organized than the cart or less organized than the cart?
I would say they're probably about equal.
And you knew, did you not, that a dummy round can be turned into a live round, and a live round can be turned into a dummy round, correct?
Yes.
So a person with spent shell casings or dummies, they could reuse them, correct?
Yes.
That would be economically efficient, right?
Yes.
And you knew as you enter this search that some of the ammunition on the set of Rust definitely came from Seth Kenny, right?
Yes,
He admitted that, right?
correct.
There were invoices he didn't have much of a choice, correct?
Yes.
And you were also looking for tools that could be used to manufacture dummies and live ammunition, correct?
Yes.
And you were also looking for a green ammo can, correct?
Yes.
You know, the white boxes that we keep looking at are, they look like each other, right?
Correct.
A green ammo can is a more unique item, fair?
Yes.
So why don't you tell the jury why you were looking for a green ammo can?
I don't recall specifically, other than at some point in time it had housed live rounds.
And law enforcement had that information at the time of going to a judge to get the search warrant, and very much at the time that they were executing the warrant, right?
Yes.
And I don't want to belabor the white box conversation too much, but other than, I have to find it too, on the white boxes that you found at the set, and at the white boxes that you saw a lot of at Seth Kenny's, there were these initials in the middle of the white box that said JS. Right? I'll just show you A2. Yeah. Right, that you found at the scene, correct?
Yes.
And if we look inside of Seth Kenny's prop house, A18, you see very similar font and signage, correct?
Yes.
And as you continue on in your search, you understood Seth Kenny was a person of interest, correct?
Yes.
And this was an important moment in the case, correct?
Yes.
And you even found out that the day before Seth Kenny provided the dummies to Rust, he had in his possession live Starline brass nickel primer from 1883, correct?
I don't recall it being the day before, or having that information personally.
Well, so let's leave the day before right now. You knew and understood that Seth Kenny had recently been in possession of Starline brass nickel primer live, correct?
I don't know that it was that specific, just that he was in possession of live ammunition in a recent point.
Now, when you testified on direct examination, you told the jury about how you found some live ammo at the prop house, right?
Yes.
And how you took that live ammo and sent it to the FBI, right?
Yes.
And you sent the live ammo from the set of Rust to the FBI, right?
Yes.
And you're not an FBI agent, but what you told the jury was that when you compared the powder from the set of Rust's ammunition to Seth Kenny's live ammunition, they didn't look the same, right?
Correct.
And you testified previously. Well, let me just ask you, did you take all of the 45 live ammunition from PDQ into evidence?
Yes.
And did you search every single box inside of Seth Kenny's prop house?
Yes.
And because you did that, according, is this still, what is that? Did I do something? Oh, it just goes to sleep. Talking too much.
Hey, Tracy.
And because you've told this jury now that you found every 45 live ammo there, correct?
Yes.
And that you searched every single box, correct?
Yes.
What you're telling this jury is they can be sure that if there was a live round on there that matched the set of Rust, you would have found it, right?
Yes.
Let's take a look at A19. Is that one of the rooms inside of the prop house?
Yes.
You see those boxes packed all the way to the ceiling?
Yes.
Did you all have a ladder or anything when you guys were searching?
No.
Okay. So can we agree that you didn't search the boxes at the top?
I believe they were taken down or at least looked into. It was not just myself searching.
Right. Well, we talked about it. It was Kana was outside. It was you and Hancock and Zook, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, tell the jury. I mean, did you or did you not search every single one of those boxes?
We searched the entirety of the property. Yes.
Well, what do you mean when you say that you searched the entirety of the property?
I mean, if a box is opened and it is clear that there's no ammunition in it, meaning if I open a box and it's all clothing and I look at the bottom of the box and it's all clothing, then we're not going to dump the box out on the floor and continue to shake it until rounds that aren't in there fall out.
But you don't know if they're in there if you
sure.
don't search. They could be in a pocket.
There were a multitude of boxes.
Got it. So, are you telling this jury that you're on your oath that you searched every single box in this room? That's just all I want to know.
Not me personally. Our team reasonably searched the warehouse.
Okay, and I think we're getting closer to, when you say reasonably searched, what do you mean by that?
I mean, how would you approach searching this kind of area?
Well, I can tell you that law enforcement, I know from the movies.
Everything would be searched.
Well, why don't you tell me, what's a grid search?
A grid search is usually conducted outside, where you would reasonably set up in a way that you could grid an area and then search each section on that grid.
Okay, and well, why don't you tell me, what would have been, if you wanted to be certain, the best way to search this room if you had unlimited resources in time?
I believe that when we searched this room, we divided the room in order for it to be searched.
Divided it how?
Meaning myself took one section, Sergeant Zook took another section, Detective Hancock took another section.
Are you certain of that, or are you best estimate that that's what your memory tells you?
I do not recall exactly how the room was searched.
Okay, and then let's say you open up a box with ammunition. How would you search an individual box?
It would depend on the box.
So tell me.
If we open a box and it's all 38s, we're not looking for 38s at that time, we're looking for 45s.
Okay. And so if you opened up a box and it was commingled rounds, how would you do it?
We would have to go through those rounds individually.
Right, and there were boxes like that here, right?
There were.
You could have had live 38 ammo
and how
as
many
well.
rooms were there inside of this location that had lots of boxes in them?
Not doing it.
There was a front room that didn't have many boxes, and then a side room that had nicely organized boxes.
And what about the bathroom? Weren't there boxes and ammunition in the bathroom?
There were boxes in the bathroom, yes.
So 4 rooms, right?
Yes.
3 of you, 4 rooms, right?
Yes.
820. What are we looking at here, Investigator Pablo?
This was a table that was located in the side room.
Okay. And what do you notice? I don't know why that arrow's there. What do you notice on this? It's probably because of me. What do you notice on this table of, here, thank you, sir. What's on this table? What is this?
There were plastic bags, tools, cleaning products, tape.
Okay. And as we talked about before, the search warrant told you to look for tools, right?
Yes.
Okay. And Detective Hancock spent some time in this room during the search, correct?
Yes, I believe so.
And do you know what all these tools are? Are you familiarity with these tools?
I'm not, no.
Okay. You don't know what they can be done. You don't know how they can be used with either firearms or ammunition, do you?
No.
Okay. So tell the members of the jury which of these tools you seized.
We did not take any tools from the warehouse.
When you were searching this area, did you have a schematic or a floor plan?
No, I don't believe so.
Did you go one room at a time or did you split up?
I don't recall.
Was there a predetermined plan of how to search this and to confirm that there were no further live bullets?
The predetermined plan was that I went in myself first and did overall photographs of everything in place, and then we conducted the search.
Did you do those letters like we saw in the prop truck so you could keep track of everything? Remember when we were looking in the church that there were those letters up so that you could sort of keep track and make sure you got everything? Did you use those letters?
No, I did not.
And of course, Seth Kenny was there and being helpful again, right?
Yes.
He told you that there were no 45 long Colts there and offered to show you the dummy rounds at one point. Do you remember that?
I don't recall that.
Do you remember him saying, I bet you $1,000 there's no 45 long Colts in there?
I do recall that, yes.
Okay. And did he win the bet?
He did not.
He lost the bet. So he tells you that, and law enforcement continues, and you look in the bathroom, and you found them, right?
Yes.
Let me ask you something. At any point, did you become suspicious of Seth Kenny?
No.
A21. You were able to find this container that says live ammo on it, right?
Yes.
And that was helpful to whoever wrote that to show you where the live ammo was, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's one of the reasons you looked in that bin. Somebody labeled it live, right?
Well, we were looking in all of those bins, yes.
Every single.
I believe there was camera equipment stacked on top of it.
Right.
And when they're opened and you see that it's camera equipment, we close it back up and went to the box on the bottom that stated there was live ammo in.
Doesn't this handwriting and label look kind of like that dummy round label we saw on the box that had that round you and I looked at? States 19.
Yes, it is similar. Yes.
And that box that had the live rounds in it, there were a couple things that you found at PDQ. Handwriting is getting worse. Right? At PDQ, you found, and that's the prop house. That's the name of the prop house, right?
Yes.
Okay. You found, bless you, Starline Brass Live, no nickel, and you found Starline, you found nickel primer lives, no Starline Brass, right?
Correct.
Every time you were with Seth Kenny, you got close to finding something that matched the scene, Starline Brass, nickel primer live, but it was always one off, wasn't it?
Yes.
And as you continued on your search, you found the green ammo can, right?
Yes.
And again, it was helpfully labeled, right?
Yes, I believe it was behind that box. I think you weren't able to obviously see it.
I see. But it also had a helpful label on it, didn't it?
Yes.
It said empty.
It's right above the captioning. It's like an army green.
A lot like the handwriting in States 19 and the helpful handwriting at A21 that says live, right?
Yes.
And it was taking a long time to go through those boxes, wasn't it?
Yes.
And Detective Hancock was wearing her lapel camera, right?
I believe so, yes.
Have you reviewed that camera?
I have not.
You remember you and you said to Detective Hancock, this is taking a long time. We really need a spa day.
Objection relevance?
What's relevant?
The
What's relevant?
relevance
Does it
is
have
that
any
it's-
more tendency to?
Sure.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Okay. Did you and Detective Hancock start joking around that it was going to take too long to search every box?
I don't recall that.
Do you deny it?
No.
And there are times in this search where you pick up a box and you just shake the whole box, right?
I don't recall that.
Can we play that video?
Demonstratives.
It doesn't matter. It's just a video. It's not a statement.
No, it does matter because she said she doesn't recall.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Do you deny you in parts of your search just picking up a box and shaking it to see if it shook or not? Do you deny that?
No.
And so, but if you shook an entire box to see if it had a rattle in it, you wouldn't be able to be sure whether or not every single live round, it was all live rounds or a commingled group, correct?
Correct.
In fact, that's the entire basis of the case of what you believe the armorer to have done. Commingled, live, and dummies, right?
Yes.
And yet at the search being conducted to find the source of the lethal round, law enforcement is doing the very same thing that you're complaining about the armorer doing on the set, right?
Yes.
And when you left
That's huge.
that search, you
That
are
is
not, as you
huge.
sit here,
That's a win.
not every live round, are you?
No.
And actually, if you look at the boxes inside of that location, you didn't even search half of them. Did you?
I don't recall.
I don't recall.
So then why on direct
Well, recall.
examination, if you do not recall, did the prosecutor ask you and you tell this jury that you were confirming that you searched and found every single live round? Why did you testify to that?
I found what I believe to be all the live rounds at the warehouse.
But that's not what you said. What
But
you
she
said
looks
was
at the jury
that you
to convince them.
found every live round, right?
I don't recall the exact words that I stated.
Well, you certainly said that you searched every single box just 10 minutes ago in front of this jury, right?
I believe that a reasonable search was conducted of the warehouse.
An investigator, I understand you were prepped before you testified today, correct?
I spoke with the prosecution before I testified yesterday.
Okay. And the jury heard something about pre-trial interviews where you're interviewed and the defense can be there to watch you be interviewed, right?
Yes.
But every time you talk to the prosecutors, defense is not there, correct?
Correct.
In fact, the vast majority of times you speak to the prosecutors, the defense is not there, correct?
Correct.
In fact, you and I had never met before today, or yesterday, I guess, correct?
Yes.
So you just said, when you originally said that you searched every box, okay, that itself is not accurate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now what you're saying is that you did a reasonable search, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And the other thing that the search warrant asked you to take was the cameras and the camera equipment, the surveillance footage from PDQ, right?
I don't recall that.
Okay, I'm going to pass up the warrant to refresh your recollection. Well, do you recall that there was camera equipment there?
There was lots of camera equipment inside of the warehouse.
In fact, you remember Seth Kenny showed you the camera equipment, right?
I don't recall exactly.
Okay, I'm just going to mark this as defense Z and just approach just quickly.
I'm sorry, is that a still frame?
Was that an objection? She's talking objections. That's the problem. Yeah, that was an objection. You're the one that fought in motions to have this not happen, and you're doing it.
I'm just going to see the refresh. Does that refresh your recollection? about the?
No, it doesn't.
No, she's on.
Take it back.
Look at her. She's like,
And I'm going to pass you the warrant
did that echo?
and ask you. This is DX23.
Now let's see why he looked like he was asleep. He's
Refreshes
watching
your
the
recollection
monitor.
if you were
He's got
supposed to-
little eye.
Yes.
What?
Yes, Your Honor. DX23. Oh.
I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, I need to know.
No. We need to refresh.
It's just a refresh. I can make it DX
So,
any number,
but why are we marking it?
Yeah,
It's
why are
just
we
being
marking
used to refresh.
and I will mark it.
Yes.
Unmarked.
Yes.
Okay. I'm not seeking to introduce this. I'm just simply asking, does this refresh your recollection that the warrant commanded you to take the video footage? Number 6.
She can refresh her memory without being.
They both wanted it.
Of surveillance footage, yes.
Okay. And so, can you tell the jury, did you take the surveillance footage?
No.
You didn't take the surveillance footage, even though that footage could have shown when people came and left the prop house, correct?
I don't recall if there was surveillance footage.
And the photograph of Mr. Kenny showing the surveillance footage didn't refresh your memory?
No, because I'm standing in the foreground of that photo.
Okay, well, tell the members of the jury what you did to search for surveillance videos that satisfied you that you had complied with the warrant's order. Tell the jury.
I don't recall looking for surveillance footage.
Okay, thank you for that answer. Because you didn't, right?
I don't recall.
But if you did, it would be on the lapel cameras of Detective Hancock and Sergeant Zook, right?
Yes.
And so if it's not on the lapel cameras of Detective Hancock and Sergeant Zook, you would agree with me it didn't happen, right?
Not precisely. They don't follow me around the entire time, and I don't wear a lapel, so it could have not been captured.
But you're not telling this jury that you looked for it, right?
I'm saying that I don't recall looking for it.
And if you had taken that footage, if any there were, right? You agree with me that it would have shown when people were coming and going from the prop house, potentially, correct?
That's a possibility, yes.
It's a possibility you could have seen when the ammo can got there, right?
Possibly, yes.
You could have seen Sarah Zachary picking up the ammunition, correct?
Possibly, yes.
You could have seen Seth Kenny disposing of ammunition in the 40 days between when the incident happened and when you arrived, correct?
Possibly, yes.
And there's one other thing that it would have shown, isn't there?
I don't know.
Well, it would have shown whether or not you all really searched the place, wouldn't it have?
Possibly, yes.
And so you didn't take it. You did not voucher any of the surveillance footage.
I do
correct?
not recall looking for the surveillance footage.
Well, again, I know that answer, but you know what you vouchered in this case, correct?
I'm not sure I understand your question.
You didn't take into your custody and add to the evidence any surveillance footage, correct?
No.
And you never spoke to any witnesses, you yourself, about what you found at PDQ later, did you?
No.
And you testified on direct examination that you did collect DNA, phones, prints, things like that in this case, right?
Yes.
And you got the armorer, the first assistant director, Dave Hall's, Sarah Zachary, and Alec Baldwin's phones, right?
I did not. I don't believe so.
You ultimately vouchered?
I would have to refer to my report. I don't believe I collected all of those things.
Okay. What about DNA extractions?
I did collect DNA swabs from certain individuals, yes.
Okay. Including Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, Dave Halls, Sarah Zachary, Alec Baldwin?
Not Alec Baldwin, but the rest.
Okay. And what about prints, fingerprints?
Yes.
Okay. From Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, Dave Halls, Sarah Zachary?
Yes.
Okay. Did you take the cell phone of Seth Kenny?
I don't believe so, no.
Did you take the prints of Seth Kenny?
No.
Did you take the DNA of Seth Kenny?
No.
Everything that you did take into your custody, in law enforcement's custody in this case, is in your supplemental report. Is that fair?
Yes.
And most importantly of all, it's your testimony you never were able to discover the source of the live ammunition, correct?
I don't believe that's in my supplemental report. I'm not sure how you're phrasing that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. I'm asking you. When we started, we were talking about solving this question of how a live round got in a movie set. Remember that?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you, this trying to solve that question, did you ever solve it?
I do not have any physical evidence to show where the live rounds originated from.
And you know, I was asking you questions earlier about how come the search happened at night, right?
Yes.
Do you remember?
I don't recall.
Okay. Why Detective Kano stood outside?
I don't recall.
Okay. Isn't the truth that you were just trying to get this over with so that the prosecutors could focus on Alec Baldwin?
No.
You personally believe Alec Baldwin committed no crime. Isn't that the truth?
No.
Your Honor, please, can we approach?
Your Honor, please. Can we
Don't do that.
approach?
I'm going to strike that question, okay? I'm going to strike the question. You're going to disregard it, okay, and the answer.
There is zero evidence in this case that Alec Baldwin brought a live round onto set, correct?
Correct.
There is zero evidence in this case
Oh,
that
that's
Alec
good.
Baldwin loaded that live round into that gun, right?
Correct.
And after this, and you turn to the next chapter of this case, is when the order came from you all, meaning you, the prosecutors, Detective Hancock, to order the testing on the firearm, right?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that?
Wasn't a good question. As this case moved forward, after what we just discussed, you, Detective Hancock and the prosecutors, made the request to the FBI to order the accidental discharge test, right?
I don't recall when that request was made exactly.
Well, forget exactly when it was made. Do you have any general recollection?
I don't.
Okay. Are you testifying that you don't know whether it was after the PDQ search?
I don't recall.
Okay. And at that time, when that test was ordered, you knew that Mr. Baldwin had told you that he had just pulled the hammer of the gun and not the trigger, correct?
I don't recall.
Okay. I'm going to refresh your recollection. Need to find it. And while I'm doing that, you did assist in the taking of the firearm withdrawal. You were involved in the requests coming from the team, right? I'm referring to you, the prosecutors, Detective Hancock, right? You understand when I say team, what I mean?
Yes.
Okay. You were involved in the request from the team to the FBI about what tests to order throughout this case. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And these were very much group decisions that you made. Of what you would test, fair?
Yes.
And everywhere in this case that you went, Detective Hancock went, right?
Yes.
So when you were at the church, the day that it happened, Detective Hancock was there, right?
Yes.
And then, when you were at the truck search, she was there, right?
Yes.
In the precinct with Seth Kennedy, she was there, right?
Yes.
At the PDQ search, she was there, right?
Yes.
And every time something happened in this case, you all would meet with the prosecutors to keep them updated, correct?
Occasionally, yes.
Well, when you say occasionally, investigate a problem, what do you mean by occasionally?
I mean that I was not always in direct contact with them about every single thing that would occur.
I'm going to approach and show the witness. Yeah, she has a copy.
Well, she doesn't know.
What you're looking at, I don't know what line you're looking at. You told me I have a copy. I'm assuming it's the previous transcript.
It is.
Page and line, please.
The body worn camera from 10/21/21.
Page and line, please.
Jeez.
Page 3, line 1.
Same objection, Your Honor.
What is it?
Ms. Popple is not Ms. Popple is not in this transcript.
Well, he's what are you doing? Asking her to refresh her memory?
She was there. I'm asking if it refreshes her recollection.
All right. Overruled.
Fair enough.
Does that refresh your recollection about what Mr. Baldwin told you at the scene?
Not particularly.
Okay. Would it be helpful if you saw the video from the lapel
Probably.
camera of
We all
Mr.
want to
Baldwin
see
at
it.
the
Come on,
scene
come on,
and
come
listen
on.
to
We
it?
want to
Would that be
see it.
helpful?
No.
That wouldn't be helpful to you, Investigator Bob?
I'm not denying that these statements were made, but I do not recall all of the information that was being stated at that time.
I understand that, but you're here to do your best, right?
Yes.
And you want to be fair to Mr. Baldwin, right?
Yes.
So you don't know that if I show you the video of you at the scene, it won't refresh your recollection?
Approach. We are now on 39 objections. Yep. 39 objections. I am setting up our live for this afternoon because I need to keep my lives at 6 hours so I can edit them if I need to. So today, I'm going to say we'll keep it at 2:30 and then I can change it. Okay, so I have another live set up. So if y'all can go over to that one after the lunch break. I'm trying.
Investigator Popple, are you willing to watch the body worn camera, the lapel, from 10/21 to refresh your recollection at a break?
Yep.
Okay. And you would agree with me, it may refresh your recollection, true?
Yes.
Okay. And whatever information you had from Mr. Baldwin at the time, well, let me ask you this. Withdrawn. Did you tell Mr. Baldwin, don't worry, we're going to find the source of the live ammunition, or words to that effect?
I don't recall stating that.
You don't deny it, though, do you?
No.
You and the team end up ordering the accidental discharge test, I think you called it the drop test, on the firearm in question, right?
Yes.
And when you all ordered that test, the FBI told you that this test may very well destroy the gun, right?
I don't recall that.
Okay, well, let's, I can't put anything on her screen, so I think you guys can do that.
Really?
I'm going to show you an email in a minute. But you do agree with me that you were involved in the team's decision to send that firearm off to the FBI for that testing, correct?
Yes.
Okay. That firearm that you told me earlier in my examination was something that you were entrusted to keep track of and to protect, right?
Yes.
A piece of evidence that you knew was critical in this case, correct?
Yes.
And the FBI told you in no uncertain terms that if they do this test on the firearm, it would alter the condition of the firearm, correct?
I don't recall that.
Okay. We're going to pass up an email to you because I can't show you on the screen, I don't think. You can? Okay. We can show you on the screen, apparently, as I understand.
Is there a reason you can't just walk up and just?
Well,
You can find it. Listen, you can look at it too. So just come up here before.
I have it, right? Okay, we have it.
They have it.
Are we doing it?
I'm just gonna pass it.
Okay, but I need to.
It's just, you know, it's, you know.
No, there's a.
Yeah.
Okay, I
Wait,
haven't- I
she
have not
has to-
reviewed this. Okay, can I have a second?
Yes.
What's the portion that you expect to refresh your memory?
She's on the email.
Yeah, but what is the portion of the email that you expect to request to refresh your memory?
Do you all want to be on the recording for this? Let's just,
Point out to me how this is
well,
supposed to
first of
refresh
all,
your memory.
just, if she can look at the whole document and see if it refreshes her memory,
That's
okay?
exactly what I was
Move
gonna
on.
And you see your email address on that email?
Yes, I do.
Let her, see if she can refresh her memory.
Of course, I just wanted to point out her email.
Okay.
Miss Diana, did I miss anything?
No, the judge just said she could look at the full document and find it for herself.
He is so trying to get that video in. It's imperable, I think, in his mind. I mean,
Does
it's
that refresh
imperative.
your recollection?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, take it back. Sensei, go lay down.
And it is true, right? You're on this email, correct?
Yes.
And on April 21st, 2022, which is after the search of the prop house, you and the team sent the firearm for testing at the FBI, correct?
Yes.
I apologize. I think I've been handed the wrong thing. Can we approach?
You can have my copy. I'll take yours then.
Hang on.
Really?
We need to approach. May we approach?
Yes.
Well, say yes, Your Honor. We can't hear your head rattle. OMG, that's good luring. All right, you can say that. You can say that.
She's going to want a drink, a strong drink. This is finished. She's been on that stand all day.
And yesterday.
And yeah, oh yes, yesterday too.
Hey, there's been witnesses on the stand for 2.5 days.
Well, hey, if you're a witness, you witness. Did you read my cup?
I can't see it.
Oh,
There's a glare. Oh, so I can call you Nana?
My favorite people call me Nana. Sure you can.
Are you old enough to be my Nana?
Oh, close enough.
Hold on. We're organizing our lunch. Oh. Now, here's why. They're trying to pin it on Seth Kenny because all the ammo came from his shop.
Well, yeah.
Sorry for
Or
the
most of it.
interruption. I'm going to ask the court reporter to read back the exact same question.
He won.
Please.
And on April 21st, 2022, which is after the search. Oh, I'm so sorry. And on April 21st, 2022, which is after the search of the prop house, you and the team sent the firearm for testing at the FBI, correct? Yes.
And that was truthful testimony and accurate testimony that you just gave, correct?
Yes.
And at the time that you sent it to the FBI for accidental discharge testing, which I believe you discussed on your direct examination, didn't you?
Yes.
He's trying to impeach
So
her.
at the time you did that, you knew that the testing would cause this firearm.
Sorry.
Again? Holy crap. Don't interpret that.
Don't you know that interpreters are to interpret everything?
That's why I said that, to see if you would obey me or not.
Well,
Obey me or not. Don't you just love it when people tell you not to interpret something and you've already done it? You go, oops, my bad.
At the time that this testing was ordered, you knew that the firearm would no longer be in the same physical condition you recovered it in, correct?
True.
Let's take a break. Thank you.
All right, we're going to take our lunch break. Please don't talk among yourselves or anyone else about the evidence received here in court, and please don't come back until 2 o'clock. Okay? 2.
Rise to the jury.
I guess people were getting there early. She's not happy, woman.
All right,
no, she's not. She needs a nip.
She has a good resting face.
Me, I would go now and say, give me an IV.
Well, while they're doing that, what we're going to do, let's see if there's any talkie in a minute.
Okay.
all right, we're in recess. Council approach.
Your Honor, as I indicated,
Housekeeping.
we're just going to provide a laptop to investigate the breaks. Thank you.
You're probably going to tell her, says, you can't have any more, objections. You had your limit.
Okay, they're going to do some housekeeping. Let me do some. I'm going to end this live. The other live is already for you to click on. I will change it to, wait a minute. If it's 12:49 my time, what time is it over there?
1:49 my time. It's 11:49 their time.
She said 2.
She did. 11:49 is almost 12 o'clock. So they're taking a 2-hour break. 2 hours, 15 minutes.
Oh, the white-haired lady behind Baldwin is his sister. I thought it looked like her. So, Miss Kevin, do I understand the time right? That means we come back at 3 o'clock my time? That's a 2-hour lunch? Is that correct? I feel like am I hot? Do I sound loud?
Not to me,
No,
but
it's just in my ears. Is that correct? Does everybody understand that the same way I did?
that's what I
Holy
am.
Moses. A 2-hour lunch? Okay. And so what we'll do is I'll set my to come on at 3 o'clock. But y'all keep an eye out because if court comes back sooner, I'm going to hop on. Okay. So in the meantime, we have a 2-hour lunch break. I'm going to close down this live because if I'm over 6 hours, I can't edit if I need to for any reason. And we'll hop back on. So you guys have a great lunch. Check back in an hour just to make sure we're not coming back live again. She may have misspoken. Okay. I will send you the new link, Miss Diane. Have a
Okay.
good lunch. Okay, guys, thank you so much for joining. I greatly appreciate you. I appreciate everything y'all are doing. The super chats, everything. Hope to see you this afternoon, Miss Kevin. Ronnie, bless you. Thank you for hanging in there with me. My mods, Tracy, thanks for hopping on. Zach, thank you for hopping on. There's a lot of Karen, but not Karen. We've got a lot of good people that hopped on today, and I greatly appreciate you. So I'm going to go have lunch with my kids, take a little break, get some relaxation in, get some research in, and I'll see you back at 3 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Alec Baldwin time. Okay? And we'll talk to you in a little bit. Once again, thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you.